Hey everyone, per your requests, I'm starting Soul Land 5, The Rebirth of Tang San. Chapters 1081 through 1100 of the previous episode. The three dominant races, dragons, phoenixes, and behemoths, maintained a fragile power balance until the death of the Crystal Demon Emperor shattered it. In the ensuing power vacuum, the Celestial Fox Demon Emperor engineered a marriage alliance between Mei Gongzi of the Peacock clan and Jin Ongwa of the Behemoth clan to stabilize the demon continent. Mei Gongzi, however, rejected this proposal, prioritizing her deep bond with Tang San. Tang San, operating from the shadows, successfully empowered Mei Gongzi to dominate the battle for the throne tournament, securing her position as the new lord of Kali City. Simultaneously, he engineered the neutrality of the Blue Gold Tree clan, turning their unique life-nurturing abilities into a strategic asset that he used to facilitate the clandestine migration of humans to islands in the endless Blue Sea. By the tournament's end, Tang San, now a god, reveals himself as the true orchestrator of these geopolitical shifts. Having secured the support of key emperors and established a nascent human sanctuary beyond the reach of demon oppression, Tang San prepares to lead humanity toward a future where they can finally stand independent. Thank you. Now let's get back to the story of Soul Land 5, The Rebirth of Tang San audio series. Chapter 1101, Pearl Island. Tang San's consciousness moved slightly, and he found the one he was looking for. Not long after, Shao He appeared in front of them. Dad. Young Master Mei greeted Shao He with a smile. Seeing her, then looking at Tang San, Shao He said sincerely, Tang San, I think I'm already sophisticated enough, but compared to you it's really too far. It's really daring. The key is to succeed. Obviously, he had already learned from Princess Peacock that Tang San pretended to be Jean Mirolan to participate in the battle for the Emperor. The Prime Minister has been rewarded. It's really hard for you these days to make our country of building wood so large. How far is the current construction situation? A flash of pride flashed in Shao He's eyes. It's even faster than what we planned. Now the islands are connected, normal traffic is possible, and communication has been completed. The smooth traffic also allows the islands to help each other. You look at this other bridge, this is building the second passage. According to what we discussed with the Haitianshu clan and the Sea Giant clan, after the three passages are established, we will begin to build the complete form of this small continent. At that time we can say that we truly have our own homeland. The premise is that the ancestral court will not find it and destroy it. The passage in the form of a bridge can sink into the sea and cover it with the help of the Haitianshu clan. But once a continent is formed, it is very difficult to it's hard to do. I want to discuss with you in this regard, whether to maintain the current state of connectivity to facilitate cover, or continue to build, according to the original plan. Tang San said without hesitation, continue building. Shao He raised his eyebrows. So confident? Even if both of you are quasi-emperors, your number is limited. Once the ancestral court is for the benefit of the group, I'm afraid there will still be big trouble. Prime Minister, trust me, I'm no longer the Tang San I used to be. The harm they once brought to mankind will never happen again. Tang San said decisively. Okay, I believe you. Shao He gave Tang San a thumbs up. Tang San said, how do you choose those who adapt to the elements? Shao Hadao. The overall selection has been carried out. Among the current overseas immigrants, about 1/3 can try it, and excluding those who are too old, there are more than 200,000 young adults and children who can try it. However, does this require too much elemental power? Tang San smiled slightly and said, I have my own way. Don't worry. When I come back this time, I will first create our own cultivation system for our human race. This is how we can gain a firm foothold on this plane in the future, even as the true foundation of being a master. That's great. I think the preparatory work before the big migration is almost done. Now even if tens of millions of people have migrated, we should be able to maintain it. The endless blue ocean is extremely rich in resources. With the help of the Sea Clan, even if it is no problem to feed as many people. The only thing that bothers me is the future of our human development. US crude oil has enough strength, but after all, there is no way to protect itself. It depends on you. Tang San smiled and nodded, saying, that's why I came back today. Prime Minister, if I want to build a large number of elemental seas to provide us human cultivation, Where is the best place? It should be relatively concealed, but also convenient for our clansmen to go to. To try is approved by the elements. Shao, he said almost without hesitation. That should be on the Pearl Island. It is a relatively central island among the islands we have immigrated to. The total area of this Pearl Island is currently the largest, and it connects all the islands. The island extends in all directions. This island is very interesting. A large part of the area is within half a meter of the water. Therefore, the ocean atmosphere is extremely strong. If you scan it with your spiritual sense, you will not feel that its area is so large. But I can't confirm if we build the elemental sea in the future, whether its breath will be easy to find. Tang Sen nodded, said, "Okay, let's set off now and go to Pearl Island to have a look. If it is suitable, it will be there." Shao, he has now become a Demon King level existence again. Although he has not returned to his peak cultivation level, he will have no problem with teleporting with them. Silver light covered the bodies of the three of them, and the light flashed and teleported away. When it reappeared, it was already on another island. Sure enough, there are more bridges connecting to the outside world. Tang San's consciousness just swept away slightly, and he felt that there were 7. Moreover, this place has penetrated into the endless blue ocean, and the breath of the ocean is even stronger, and even the power of his belief has become more intense. The golden halo on Tang San's body was obviously intensified, plus he had sensed divine attributes before. Even just standing there at this time, there was a feeling of a god descending. This is such a good place. The power of faith converges from all directions, and there are a large number of human beings here. In the future, you can practice here for a period of time and adjust your various abilities through the power of faith, so as to prepare for the final breakthrough. The area of this island is larger than that of Crescent Island. As Shao, he said, there is a wonderful phenomenon around this island. A large part of the island is half a meter to 1 meter below the water surface, and the bottom is pure white. The sand looks like a white sea with sparkling waves. Pearl Island is well deserved. Silently felt the elemental fluctuations in the air around the island. The various elements here are extremely abundant. It really fits. How is it? Shao, he asked with concern. Tang San nodded and said, "It's a good place, that's it." Shao, he was about to ask him when it would start, but saw that Tang San was already flying out of thin air, rising into the air. Young Master Mei was full of curiosity at this time, because she also wanted to know how Tang San would build the Sea of Elements. She controls the space elements herself, and has a very deep understanding of the elements. No matter what kind of elements are, they are very free and active. It is almost impossible to have only one element in one place, unless it is forced to condense with some specific artifacts, but such artifacts are extremely rare. And what Tang San wants to condense is not an element. There are thousands of human beings. The number of human beings that can be recognized by a single element is definitely limited, and there are many types of elements on the plane. If you want more humans to be recognized by the elements, you need to have more elements. Tang San flew higher and higher, and soon, his figure had exceeded the sea level by a kilometer. In the air, more power of faith continued to gather towards him, and Tang San himself could see the fine golden light spots flying towards him from a distance. The energy of chaos was released, and with the support of Yin and Yang, Tang San's own aura began to change. At this moment, he seemed to have merged with the whole world, and when he looked at him from below, his figure seemed to have become blurred. Seeing this scene, Shao He, who used to be the great peacock demon king, couldn't help being startled and merged into the world. Isn't this a sign of assimilation with heaven and earth? That's the end of it. However, the next moment he thought that it would not be integrated into the world. That is something that can only be achieved by a peak emperor, just like the former tree ancestor. And now Tang San is not even an emperor. It is impossible to do this. So what is he going to do? With the support of Chaos Chi, Tang San's body was indeed gradually merging with heaven and earth. This fusion is very strange. The Chi of Chaos is the seed at the beginning of the plane. It gave birth to the 2 Chi of Yin and Yang, and then all things grow. The power of faith was still gathering, but it flowed a little slower, and Tang San's bloodline brand was exuding a faint brilliance under the release of Chaos Chi. Chapter 1102. The Return of the Sea God. Although Tang San hadn't used them all this time, they still grew up under the nurturing of Chaos Chi. "Come on!" Tang San shouted softly. Immediately, the power of faith around his body began to rapidly revolve around his body. Tang San grabbed his right hand in the air, and the sacred dragon spear landed in his hand, and the next moment, a huge light and shadow appeared behind him. The huge light and shadow were presented in golden color, but just after it appeared, there was a feeling of connecting the sky and the earth, and in his hand was holding a golden trident. It is the projection of the sea god. And the sea god projection at this time was more solid than anything young master Mei had ever seen before. And the sacred dragon spear in Tang San's hand was also changing silently. It looked like a simple transformation, but it had turned into a trident shape. Young master Mei used the shadow demon sword to carry the Azura Excalibur, which gave the Azura Excalibur a substance. When Tang San just got the bright dragon spear, the bright dragon spear obviously couldn't do this, unable to carry the projection breath of the sea god trident. But with the evolution of the bright dragon spear into the sacred dragon spear, and Tang San's power of life and death on this plane, everything changed. Under his cultivation, and through the ingenious control of the Tower of Time and Space, the sacred dragon spear has completed the projection of the sea god trident, which can not only better exert the power of the true sea god trident. More importantly, it also issued a clearer call to the true body of the trident who was rushing to this plane. Tang San's position as a god already existed, so the summoning of the sea god's trident would naturally be clearer and easier. That's why he told Su Qin that they might not be able to wait too long. Once the two super artifacts arrive, it is time for them to transcend the calamity. The super artifacts come to look for them. After they are found, no matter what plane they are in, they will definitely return to them as soon as possible. As for the Phelan star in front of him, it is impossible to carry the two super artifacts, the Sea God Trident and the Shura Excalibur. As for the two super artifacts, as long as they can find their masters, what is the point of destroying a plane? Only by successfully transcending the tribulation before the arrival of the two super artifacts and detaching from this plane can this place not be destroyed by the super artifacts. A faint smile appeared on Tang San's face. His hands folded in front of him. The Sea God Trident in his hand flew out and fell into the huge light and shadow behind him. Immediately, the light and shadow instantly became more solid, like a real person. Even the face became clear, exactly the same as Tang San. At this time, the human race on Pearl Island was already alarmed. When they saw the huge figure in the sky, their first reaction was fear. But soon, they felt that the light emitted by the huge figure would have an indescribable comfortable feeling on them. This feeling made their hearts gradually settle down, but they still stared at the sky in disbelief. At the moment when the Sea God projection raised the Sea God Trident, the unparalleled huge power of faith frantically gathered from all directions towards the Pearl Island. In the endless blue sea, a large number of marine creatures, especially the marine creatures with rank, floated up quickly, all staring and worshipping here. They felt the breath of God, the god of the sea. Some powerful and nearby marine creatures are swimming towards this side quickly. The aura of the sea god makes their new blood boil, and their own cultivation is accelerated in the boiling blood. What could be more wonderful than this? Tang San didn't seem to know anything about it. At this moment, his eyes were slightly closed, and his consciousness had enveloped the entire Pearl Island. Layers of strong belief power descended from the sky after passing through his body and landed on Pearl Island, making the entire Pearl Island covered with a golden brilliance, and the human beings here clearly felt that their body was moisturized. The pain disappeared, and the incomparable comfort even made them feel that their souls seemed to have sublimated at this moment. This feeling is really wonderful, and under the shroud of Tang San Xingyang's power, if it was said that this place was the Pearl Island, then at this moment the pearl has turned into a golden pearl. The power of faith shrouded. Even the great peacock demon king and young master may felt the beauty of it. Their own bloodlines are quietly changing due to its influence, which is a direct qualitative change, as if touching a higher level existence. Chapter 1103. The Beating of Nature and #039. S. Heart. He has practiced for 2,000 years and has been in charge of the ancestral court for a long time. This is the first time that this has happened. What's wrong? Is this what happened? The consciousness condensed, poured into the Tianhu holy mountain under him, and mobilized qi to feel the changes in the plane. However, everything seemed to have returned to calm, as if nothing had happened. The heavenly fox demon emperor couldn't sit still. He stood up abruptly from his seat. The next moment, he was already in the sky. The power of luck spread, and silently felt all the subtle changes. However, he sensed for half an hour and did not feel any energy change. Like, "Little Marquis, hurry up, it's our turn to patrol. Where am I?" Qin, who sat up in a daze, feeling cold on his body, and the wind was blowing outside, and suddenly felt strange in his heart. "Oh, little Marquis, why are you confused? We are in the barracks. It's our turn to send guards at this hour. If you can't afford it, the military law will deal with it. Now the old Marquis can't protect you." "What?" Qin, who opened his eyes and saw that he was staying in a tent with a soldier in leather armor in front of him. Just when he wanted to open his mouth to ask something, he suddenly had a splitting headache, and a huge flow of information rushed into his mind, and after a few seconds he knew that he had passed through. He passed from a modern special soldier to a young marquis named Qin who is the head of the 7 evil young men in the capital, and this era called the Dayu dynasty did not exist in history at all. Qin, whose ancestor was one of the 28 marquis of the founding fathers of Dayu. His father died of illness 3 months ago, and Qin, who became the new champion marquis. Qin, who was spoiled by his parents since he was a child. He didn't like to read or practice martial arts. When he grew up, his family wanted him to take care of him, so they decided on a marriage. The woman was the eldest lady of Chen Guogong's family, named Chen Ruoli, a famous girl and a beautiful woman. This Qin, who is extremely vicious to others, but he treats this beautiful fiancée as a treasure. But the thing happened to this childhood sweetheart, Miss Chan. According to Qin, whose memory, he brought his fiancée into the palace that day to visit Princess Chang'an. The princess and Chan Ruoli had been friends since childhood, so they arranged a banquet. But later Qin, who drank the film, and when he woke up, he had already arrived at the imperial prison of the inner guard. He was told that he was drunk and molested the princess with the intention of doing something wrong. What's even weirder is that Chan Ruoli actually wrote a letter to impeach Qin, who, his fiancée, for 72 illegal things. Qin, who was like a thunderclap at the time, he couldn't believe his ears. The imperial decree came down very soon. If you have meritorious deeds on the ancestors of Qin, who, the death penalty can be avoided, and the death penalty cannot be escaped. He will be assigned to Yuzhou, serve in the army, and retain the title for the sake of future effects. But after arriving in Yuzhou, he was soon assigned to the front line of the pioneer. After going through these things in Qin, whose mind, he basically understood that this should be a trap. Because Chen Guogong wanted to break off the marriage with him for a long time. The Qin family and the Chan family were originally political marriages, and both wanted to become stronger and bigger, but the later Qin, who was almost useless except for being a playboy. It can be said that he lost the face of the champion Hofu. You must know that the champions of all dynasties are all heroes and have unparalleled influence in the army. But this generation has produced a waste who has never been on the battlefield. When the old marquis was alive, Chan Guogong returned his face. When the old marquis died, Chan Guogong turned his face ruthlessly, and even staged a scene of divorce in the morning hall. But Qin, who loves Chan Ruoli so much that he is not allowed to live or die. But Chan Ruoli has long been very disgusted with him as a villain. And so a disaster happened. As for Princess Chang'an, it is even simpler. She is Qin, whose cousin's cousin. As long as Qin, who is dead, the huge family property of the champion Ho's mansion will naturally fall to this cousin. These forces each got what they needed, and they were united so quickly. Sure enough, as soon as he entered the Homen, it was as deep as the sea, and there were so many people who wanted him to die. Qinan, do you think we can find a place to be backed by the wind? Chapter 1104. Sea of Elements. Putting away the heart of nature, Tang San injected a large number of different elemental powers in 4 directions. Under the guidance of his faith, this was not a difficult task. Soon, for small elements, the sea has gradually taken shape, and it is still growing slowly under the influence of the aggregation effect of the seeds of the elements. When he was photographing the heart of nature, he thought of this magical effect. If there is no heart of nature, he originally planned to find 4 artifacts corresponding to the 4 attributes of water, fire, earth, and wind, and destroy these artifacts to create an existence similar to the seed of the elements. But the power of the elements planted in this way needs to be carefully advanced in the early stage. Little Marquis, hurry up, it's our turn to patrol. Where am I? Qin, who sat up in a daze, feeling cold on his body, and the wind was blowing outside, and suddenly felt strange in his heart. Oh, little Marquis, why are you confused? We are in the barracks. It's our turn to send guards at this hour. If you can't afford it, the military law will deal with it. Now the old Marquis can't protect you. What? Qin, who opened his eyes and saw that he was staying in a tent with a soldier in leather armor in front of him. Just when he wanted to open his mouth to ask something, he suddenly had a splitting headache, and a huge flow of information rushed into his mind, and after a few seconds he knew that he had passed through. He passed from a modern special soldier to a young marquis named Qin who is the head of the 7 evil young men in the capital. And this era called the Dayu dynasty did not exist in history at all. Qin, whose ancestor was one of the 28 marquis of the founding fathers of Dayu. His father died of illness 3 months ago, and Qin, who became the new champion marquis. Qin, who was spoiled by his parents since he was a child. He didn't like to read or practice martial arts. When he grew up, his family wanted him to take care of him, so they decided on a marriage. The woman was the eldest lady of Chen Guogong's family, named Chen Ruoli, a famous girl and a beautiful woman. This Qin, who is extremely vicious to others, but he treats this beautiful fiancée as a treasure. But the thing happened to this childhood sweetheart, Miss Chan. According to Qin, whose memory, he brought his fiancée into the palace that day to visit Princess Chang'an. The princess and Chen Ruoli had been friends since childhood, so they arranged a banquet. But later Qin, who drank the film, and when he woke up, he had already arrived at the imperial prison of the inner guard. He was told that he was drunk and molested the princess with the intention of doing something wrong. What's even weirder is that Chen Ruoli actually wrote a letter to impeach Qin, his fiancée, for 72 illegal things. Qin, who was like a thunderclap at the time, he couldn't believe his ears. The imperial decree came down very soon. If you have meritorious deeds on the ancestors of Qin, the death penalty can be avoided, and the death penalty cannot be escaped. He will be assigned to Yuzhou, serve in the army, and retain the title for the sake of future effects. But after arriving in Yuzhou, he was soon assigned to the front line of the pioneer. After going through these things in Qin, mind, he basically understood that this should be a trap. Because Chen Guogong wanted to break off the marriage with him for a long time. The Qin family and the Chen family were originally political marriages, and both wanted to become stronger and bigger, but the later Qin, who was almost useless except for being a playboy. It can be said that he lost the face of the champion Hofu. You must know that the champions of all dynasties are all heroes and have unparalleled influence in the army. But this generation has produced a waste who has never been on the battlefield. When the old marquis was alive, Chen Guogong returned his face. When the old marquis died, Chen Guogong turned his face ruthlessly, and even staged a scene of divorce in the morning hall. But Qin, who loves Chen Ruoli so much that he is not allowed to live or die. But Chen Ruoli has long been very disgusted with him as a villain. And so a disaster happened. As for Princess Chang'an, it is even simpler. She is Qin, whose cousin's cousin. As long as Qin, who is dead, the huge family property of the champion Ho's mansion will naturally fall to this cousin. These forces each got what they needed, and they were united so quickly. Sure enough, as soon as he entered the Homen, it was as deep as the sea, and there were so many people who wanted him to die. Qinan, do you think we can find a place to be backed by the wind? Under the bright moonlight, the rough north wind with a harsh whistle swept across the open field, and blew a few torches on and off, more like countless flying knives slicing human skin. Chapter 1105. Human heritage begins. Wisdom. This is the wisdom that belongs to human beings. Shao, he said with admiration. Humans can have such an emperor. It's a pity. Tang San shook his head gently and said, It's no pity, even if this senior does not hesitate to be discovered by the emperor. He still has to transcend the tribulation and become an emperor, in order to leave this inheritance for us humans. An existence like Huang Tianzhu, even the emperors cannot easily destroy it. He kept his inheritance, so that one day our clansmen can complete this inheritance, and his legacy will be taken over by us. After that, I will make it according to the inheritance of this senior. Little Marquis, get up quickly, it's our turn to patrol. Where am I? Qin, who sat up in a daze, feeling cold on his body, and the wind was blowing outside, and suddenly felt strange in his heart. Oh, little Marquis, why are you confused? We are in the barracks. It's our turn to send guards at this hour. If you can't afford it, you will be dealt with by military law. Now the old Marquis can't protect you. What? Qin, who opened his eyes and saw that he was staying in a tent at the moment, with a soldier in leather armor in front of him. Just when he was about to open his mouth to ask something, he suddenly had a splitting headache, and a huge flow of information rushed into his mind. After a few seconds, he knew that he had passed through. He passed from a modern special soldier to a young marquis named Qin who is the head of the 7 evil young men in the capital. And this era called the Dayu dynasty did not exist in history at all. Qin, whose ancestor was one of the 28 marquis of the founding fathers of Dayu. His father died of illness 3 months ago, and Qin, who became the new champion marquis. Qin, who was spoiled by his parents since he was a child. He didn't like to read or practice martial arts. When he grew up, his family wanted him to take care of his heart, so they decided on a marriage. The woman was the eldest lady of Chen Guogong's family, named Chen Ruoli, a famous girl and a beautiful woman. This Qin, who is extremely vicious to others, but he treats this beautiful fiancée as a treasure. But it happened to this childhood sweetheart, Miss Chen. According to Qin, whose memory, that day he brought his fiancée into the palace to visit Princess Chang'an. The princess and Chen Ruoli were close since childhood, so they arranged a banquet. But later Qin, who drank the film, and when he woke up, he had already arrived at the imperial prison of the inner guard. He was told that he was drunk and molested the princess with the intention of doing something wrong. What's even weirder is that Chen Ruoli actually wrote a letter to impeach fiancé Qin, who for 72 illegal things. At that time, Qin, who seemed to be struck by 5 thunders, he couldn't believe his ears. The imperial decree came down soon. If you have meritorious deeds on the ancestors of Qin, you will be spared the death penalty, and you will have no escape. You will be assigned to Yuzhou, serve in the army, and retain the title for the sake of future effects. But after arriving in Yuzhou, he was quickly placed on the front line. The pioneer's tent was to listen to. After going through these things in Qin, whose mind, he basically understood that this should be a trap. Because Chen Guogong wanted to break off the marriage with him for a long time. The Qin family and the Chen family were originally political marriages, and both wanted to become stronger and bigger, but the later Qin, who was almost useless except for being a scoundrel. It can be said that he lost the face of the champion Hofu. You must know that the champions of the past dynasties are all heroes and have unparalleled influence in the army, but it is this generation that has produced a waste who has never been on the battlefield. When the old man was alive, Chen Guogong returned face. The old man died. Chen Guogong turned his face ruthlessly, and even staged a scene of divorce in the morning hall. But Qin, who loves Chen Ruoli so much that he is not allowed to live or die. But Chen Ruoli has long been disgusted by this evil young man. Then a disaster here comes. As for Princess Chang'an, it's even simpler. She is Qin, whose cousin's cousin. As long as Qin, who is dead, the huge family property of the champion Ho's mansion will naturally fall to this cousin. These forces each got what they needed, and they were united so quickly. Sure enough, as soon as he entered the Homen, it was as deep as the sea, and there were so many people who wanted him to die. Qinin, do you think we can find a place to be backed up? Under the bright moonlight, the rough north wind with a harsh whistle swept across the open field, blowing a few torches on and off, more like countless flying knives slicing human skin. No, little Marquis. He will be dealt with by military law. Qin, Hu and Qinin ran out of the camp and ran forward on the heavy snow. The thin Qinin was inadvertently overturned by the strong wind. When the 2 sentinels who switched defenses saw them come out, they looked at each other with a gloomy smile, put out the warm bonfire with 2 handfuls of snow, and then got into the tent. Mother, even the soldiers were bought, and I wanted to freeze me to death. This is a small-scale camp with about 20 tents, surrounded by horse-drawn carriages, and the antlers are not even lined up. According to the memory of Qin, whose previous life, there were about 200 people stationed here. They were the vanguard camp of Li Qin. the general of the Yu dynasty's expedition to the north. The target of Li Qin's army of 20,000 people this time is the ancient enemy of the Yu dynasty on the border, the Liaodong kingdom. Cough, little Marquis, do you think we can go back alive? Qin An's whole body was curled up on the snow. His lips and face were blue, and he was weak when he spoke, as if he would die at any time. Qin Hu sighed in his heart. Qin An was completely implicated by himself, and if things continued like this, they would definitely die. Those who wanted him to die didn't kill him in the courtroom, but slapped him with black hands in the military camp and killed him. But Qin Hu is by no means someone who just sits and waits for death. This is obviously a matter of being framed, and he can't take a break. Life is an endless struggle to survive. Just wait, I will not only live, but also go back to the capital to settle accounts with you. Qin An, how many banknotes did we bring when we went out? I don't have any silver notes. I only have 20 taels of silver on me. The imperial decree said that we were allotted to the army, and our property was banned. Qin An is only 16 years old this year. He is Qin Hu's personal book boy. In fact, Qin Hu is not much better. The pioneer camp has marched 30 miles a day for the past few days. The work they do is to open roads and bridges between mountains and water, cut firewood and fire, dig ditches to carry water and build camps. And what would it be like for these two thin-skinned and tender-fleshed fellows to stay with hundreds of big and 3 thick choba every day? It must be the most tiring job, the worst meal, the worst beating, and the most angry. Qin Hu estimated that his predecessor might have been tortured to death. Can be considered that he deserves it. It's just that he has to bear this suffering now. If he can't bear it, he will die. Give me. Qin Hu thought about it. He must first try to save Qin An's life, and then think of other ways. In fact, it is not difficult to save one's life. The easiest way is to pay bribes. As the saying goes, money can lead to gods. Although this method is primitive, it will always work. But now in this situation, it is impossible for him to bribe high-ranking officials, because no one dares to get involved with him. Not to mention no money. So he thought of a person in his mind, the centurion Li Xiaoquan. That is, the current leader of the Pioneer Battalion. 1106. The inheritance of human started. Wisdom. This is the wisdom of human. Shao Ha filled saying of acclaiming. Human can have such sovereign unexpectedly. What a pity. Tang San, shaking the head gently, said, It's nothing was a pity that this senior, even if not hesitate to be discovered by sovereign, once crossing tribulation become a sovereign, for as gives us human to leave behind this inheritance. Sovereign heavenly pillar such existence, is even if sovereign are unable easily to destroy and destroy. He preserved oneself inheritance, to some day our clansmen can complete this inheritance. But his behest must have us to replace. Later, I will manufacture according to the inheritance of this senior. Young Marquis, you get up a bit faster, was once turn us to go on patrol. Where is Maya's at? Qin Tiger sat blurry, felt that cool whiz-whiz, outside whistling is also blowing the gale, immediately at heart strange. Aya the young Marquis, you were how blurry we in military compound. This double hour is one's turn us to stand sentry, military law handling. The old Marquis cannot protect you now. What? Qin Tiger opened the eye to look, saw only this time to stay in a tent, at present is soldier who put on skin armor. In him is thinking that the opens the mouth asked anything time, suddenly a headache wants to crack, a huge information flow broke in his mind after several seconds he knows that oneself passed through. He from a modern special soldier, passed through one also to call on Qin Tiger the young Marquis, was the capital city 7 big young tyrants' heads. But this time named Yu/Dynasty, historically does not exist greatly. Qin Tiger the ancestor was greatly one of the Yu Kaigua 4 Duke 28 Marquises. 3 months ago the father died of illness. Qin Tiger, the hereditary rank of nobility, became the new champion Marquis. Qin Tiger was spoiled by the parents since childhood, did not like studying, did not like practicing martial art, played constantly, makes merry, runs amok capital city. Grew up in the family/home to make him receive to have a change of heart, then set a marriage. The bride's side was the young lady of Chan Guogong family/home, named Chan Ruoli. The prestigious family was demure, outwardly refined and inwardly intelligent. This Qin Tiger to others was ferocious, but pretty, such as Flower the fiancée to this was obedient, regarded like the treasure. but Thing left on Miss Chun of this friends from childhood. According to the memory of Qin Tiger, he entered the palace to pay respect to current dynasty Chang'an princess with the fiancé on that day. The princess and Chan Ruoli is intimate since childhood. Then the arrangement banquets. But Qin Tiger drank the fragment afterward, waking up time. The person had arrived at the Imperial Edict Prison of Domestic Protection. He was informed the alcoholic intoxication to sexually harass the princess, the intention a legal matter. Stranger and behind, Chan Ruoli submitted a written statement to impeach the fiancé Qin Tiger 72 illegal matters unexpectedly. Each article had depending on having the evidence. Qin Tiger seemed like a sudden thunderclap at that time. General, cannot believe Onir simply. The imperial decree got down quickly, reading was active in Qin Tiger the ancestor, the capital crime may exempt, the suffering was difficult to escape, is sent to frontier service Yuzhou. Before the army worked, retains the title, lightened a punishment and watched subsequent behavior. However after Yuzhou, he was arranged on frontline quickly vanguard greeting listens to use. These thing after the brain of Qin Tiger, he have basically wanted to understand this should be a snare. Because Chun Guogong has wanted to break an engagement with him. Qin and Chun are the politics married, both want to build stronger and bigger. Qin Tiger who then comes except for was a playboy, had almost no merit to speak, can say that lost completely the face of Champion Ho residence. All previous Champion Marquis is the hero character, has the incomparable influence in the army, may arrive at this generation, had / left simply not to get up the battlefield waste. The old Marquis living time, Chan Guogong gives back to the face, the old Marquis died, Chan Guogong has a falling out, performed a morning hall to break an engagement unexpectedly. But Qin Hushan loved Chun Ruoli, did not permit, but Chun Ruoli has actually loathed about his young tyrant. Therefore a disaster arrives. Regarding Chang'an princess that was simpler, she was Qin Tiger male cousin's cousin, so long as Qin Tiger died, the huge family property of Champion Ho residence, naturally scolded this male cousin's body entirely. These influences accord to his need, act and collusion united like this rapidly got up. Really enters the noble stem deep as sea, wants who he dies, but also are really many. Chinan, you said that we do look for the place back to be in fashion. Under the bright moonlight shines, the crude north wind brings the grating whistling tone, passed over gently and swiftly the spacious wilderness, flashes on and off to extinguish clear, ly. That several flares blow, just like innumerable is cutting the skin of person the throwing knife. It is not good the young Marquis, will be handled by the military law. Qin Tiger and Chinan necking and shrank the foot as braving the wind, ran from the military camp, stepped on the heavy snow to run forward. Emaciated Qin one does not pay attention, threw off by the gale directly. Two relieving a garrison sentries see them to come out, the looking at each other sinister smile, held two snows to extinguish the bonfire of heating, then went inside in the tent. The mother, even the soldiers gave to buy, wants to freeze to death the father. This is the scale very small military camp, the probably 20 tents, the surroundings surround with the carriage, the surrounding cheval antler without the arrangement, the nearby is topographically flat, without the danger may defend, looked would have no plan to be stationed for a long time. According to Qin Tiger the previous life memory, here was stationed about 200 people, they are you towards / dynasty Zhengbei General Li Qin Zion Fenjing. But the goals of this time Li Qin 20,000 armies are you towards / dynasty old enemy and border, eastern Liaoning country. The young Marquis, you said that we can also live. The Chinan entire body rolls up in the snowy area, the lip and face are blue, the speech is also worn out, as if will die momentarily. Qin Tiger sighed, Chinan was purely as implicated by oneself, but if thing developed according to this, they must die without doubt. These want who he dies, has not tormented to death him in the deliberation hall. Under the evil behind the scenes manipulator in the military compound hits the staggering blow, puts in order him. But Qin Tiger was not the person of sitting waiting for death. This obvious framed matter. He cannot conclude. The life is endless struggle for survival, just wait, the father not only need go on living will also return capital city, does accounts with you. Chinan we go out, how many paper money brought? Did not have the paper money, my body only had 22 money. On the imperial decree said that we are sent to frontier service to be sent to frontier service. The family property prohibits. Chinan this year is only 16 years old, was Qin Tiger the personal book child, Long was very emaciated, extremely has suffered, looked remains the one breath. Actually Qin Tiger was also no better. Xian Fenjing marched for these days every day 30 li, 0.5 kilometers. The dry/does work was built roads through the mountains with the water bridging, chopped firewood to light a fire, trenches to carry water, build military camp. But the fellows of these two soft and fair skin, what condition every day and several hundred tall earthen mounds do 8 treat in the same place can be. Definitely does the most tired work, has the worst food, by most poisonous hitting by the biggest air/chi. Qin Tiger estimated. His predecessor was possibly suffered dead while still alive. Also as his punishment is deserved. This pain needs him shoulder now words that cannot shoulder he will also die. Gives me. Qin Huxiang, he must first try to preserve the life of Qinan, then tried to find other solution. But must maintain life is actually not difficult, the simplest method bribes. As the saying goes, money talks. This means that although is primitive but forever easy to use. But now this situation, he not possible to bribe the senior official, because no one dares to touch on slightly with him. Also did not have money. Therefore in his mind thought of a person, 100 husband Long Li Xiaokuan. Also as the member in Xian Fenjing at present. To look at the newest chapter content, please download to like reading app. Does not have the advertisement to read the newest chapter content free. The website does not update the newest chapter content. The newest chapter content has been liking reading the app renewal. Chapter 1107. Enforcer. The youth's complexion instantly became solemn. The elemental tide has only appeared once. It was a human who had awakened the fire attribute before. He had excellent talent and a high affinity for the fire element. However, I don't know if he absorbed too much elemental power. Later, there were some problems with his body, and he couldn't cultivate, but the next moment, the solemnity on his face turned into surprise, because the waterspout did not go to the sky, but drew a parabola and went straight to the shore. As they got closer, they could clearly see that the waterspout was actually composed of blue and red. When it landed on the shore, it returned instantly, leaving only a small figure with a blank face and a 2-color halo lingering around it. The 2-color halo finally condensed into a small 2-color cloud hanging behind the little girl's head. Dual attributes? Dual element control? Fire and wind? This is God's favor. Bathed in the golden light, Ling Mian seemed to have returned to his childhood. The golden light was like a mother's hand, gently soothing his body. The whole body is wrapped in a layer of warm aura, as if something is sublimating. His eyes were also rendered golden at this moment, and his black hair fluttered without wind. The handsome little face was a little nervous but more excited. Although he didn't know what kind of power it was, he could faintly feel that it was very strong, and he was really moving with it. Warm energy poured into his body violently, as if the galloping Yangtze River converged in the direction of his left hand along his bloodline. Ling Mian's left hand was lifted subconsciously, as if it had broken out of the shell, and a layer of gold bloomed in his palm. Ah! He couldn't help shouting softly, and couldn't wait to look into his palm. A booklet with a dark golden hard surface and a thin body has appeared on his palm. When he cast it for the first time, the feeling of spiritual connection instantly ran through his mind, as if it was originally a part of his body. On the booklet, 3 golden and simple words appeared: Law Enforcer. What is this? Am I successful? At this moment a sigh sounded. Finally someone can succeed. I didn't expect that the success rate of mastering the code was so low. It seems that a good enough talent is needed. It is still necessary to lower the threshold of mastering the code, even if it is not possible. Going to a higher level, at least you can have a certain ability to protect yourself. We must continue to improve. Ling Mian looked up at the sky in confusion. The thick book was still there. He was surprised to find that his eyesight had improved, and he could vaguely see the words on the cover of the thick book in the air. The Book of Laws. Child, you are the first human being who can control the code. From today onwards, you are a law enforcer. In the future, you will use your own power to preside over the order, and guard the order for us human beings. Okay, thank you. At this time, Ling Mian's mood has begun to become excited. Has he really begun to have power? First, isn't that a strong force? At this moment, all of a sudden, he only felt that something started to appear in his brain, and the code in his hand began to glow with it. The first page of the code was slowly opened, revealing a blank sheet of paper. There is knowledge about how the code should be practiced, how to meditate, how to stimulate the code, how to rub the ability, and so on. This huge amount of knowledge was too much for him to add, leaving Ling Mian at a loss. I can't always point you, but I have imprinted the knowledge of the code in your mind. As you grow up, you will gradually understand the mystery. In the future, you will not only cultivate by yourself as the senior brother of the door, you have to give guidance to the younger generation. Today, I will give you the ability of the first page of the God-given code, which will help you grow and protect you at all times. The surface of the blank page began to twist, and streaks of golden light converged, causing the page itself to tremble slightly gradually. The golden light gathered into a pattern and turned into a long sword intertwined with gold and black, and many light patterns appeared around it. Looking at this strange pattern, Ling Mian couldn't help but feel a sense of ignorance. Give you the sword of time and space. In the future, take good care of mankind. If one day your heart is gone, the sword of time and space will become your sword of judgment. Yes, thank you, teacher. Ling Mianfu felt his heart, and knelt down with the code in his palms in both hands. This time, Qingyue's voice spread far and wide in the valley. The test is suspended, and it will continue after adjustment. Tang San looked at the book of all dharmas in his hand. These days he has been studying and adjusting the cultivation system he created. He named this system the Divine Code. Humans who can fit in with it and are suitable for the guardianship of order can learn. Through the gift of the God-given codex, various abilities can be rubbed with the codex. This not only drew on the information of the senior human emperor, but also borrowed from his own Xiantiangong ability to seal blood, plus a series of adjustments. It finally took shape. It's just that Tang San didn't expect that to inherit the divine given law, the talent needed was too high. It needs to be completely compatible in all aspects, even the personality must be compatible. This has caused a large number of children who have come to be tested before to fail. It lasted for 3 days, and there was only such a successful case among more than 1,000 children. This kind of success rate is obviously wrong. Even if there are a few successful people, it is of little significance if it cannot benefit all mankind. So, you have to improve it yourself. Obviously, the God-given codex has too high requirements for talent. So, how to improve it so that more humans can accept and complete the fusion? This also requires careful thought. There should be no results in a short period of time. Don't be embarrassed. Someone can pass it on. This is a good start. Your book of all dharmas is all-encompassing, and it is not easy to pass it on. It's not that we humans are not talented enough. Look, the book of all laws is too powerful. Young Master Mei said. Tang San's heart moved. Is it too strong? I understand. He hugged the beautiful boy beside him and kissed her pink cheek. My baby is the smartest. Young Master Mei gently punched him but leaned into his arms. What did you think of? Tang San smiled slightly and said, since it's too strong, then split it up and subdivide it into different types, so that it can fit more different people. Then step by step, complete a part of the cultivation first, among which those who can continue to improve. Just continue. Those who can't move up stay in the original realm they have practiced, and those who have certain basic abilities can also make certain contributions to mankind. I will sort them out. It should be no problem. Young Master Mei couldn't help sighing. You are really amazing. A cultivation path started from nothing and finally took shape. But it was completed in such a short period of time, which is simply unthinkable. Elemental sea, the effect over there is better. The 4 elements of the sea have begun to blend, and fusion attributes other than the 4 basic attributes have gradually appeared. Tang San said with a smile. That must be powerful. You can't embarrass my beautiful sister. Young Master Mei smiled sweetly and said, it's almost the same. Tang San said, I have an idea. The next thing I need is time. I've been out a bit too long. I'm going to go back to the Blue Gold Tree Clan to have a look first. Then I'm ready to go. Young Master Mei's beautiful eyes lit up, and her pretty face turned red. Well, then I'll wait for you at Carrie City. Chapter 1108 Problem Occurs. Tang San's departure naturally had only one purpose, that is, to go to Carrie City, and formally propose to the beautiful son of the same quasi-emperor as the Blue Gold Tree Clan's patriarch, Jianmuching's city lord, and a first-generation quasi-emperor. There's nothing more important to me than this. Wait for me, baby. In the past month or so, the Kingdom of Building Wood has entered a new stage of development under Tang San's adjustment. especially the emergence of the elemental sea, allowing more human beings to start cultivating in this new way. The major islands are in full swing, and Xiaohe has been busy recently letting more people go to Pearl Island to try element affinity. Although there were flaws in the initial attempt of the God-given law code, there was at least one successful case. Tang San carefully inspected the child named Ling Mian, summed up the experience, and then gradually perfected this inheritance, so that human beings can truly possess the three cultivation paths, create opportunities for the future. Of course, it is not something that humans can achieve overnight if they want to have the strength to compete with the two clans of goblins. It will take a long time to cultivate. There was no way Tang San could make mankind stronger at once. The growth of mankind requires his own efforts, and what he did was to create opportunities for the growth of mankind. Teleport and return to the Blue Gold Tree clan to build the wooden city. The ultra-long-distance teleportation across the entire continent, even with Tang San's current cultivation, took a full 20 minutes to complete. Spent a lot of power in Jianmu City. The breath of life is still extremely strong. Just when the teleportation returned, Tang San felt something. His rhinoceros eyes are now at the level of the 11th order, especially after integrating the blood power of the seven-colored deer demon emperor. He also has the ability to control elements, and the control of luck can be said to be in the entire fairy continent. It is second only to the heavenly fox demon emperor. Pen Fun Library. He didn't know what happened in Jianmu City, but he felt it right away. And he can feel that someone has come to find him. It should be Jean Miaosan who sits in Jianmu City. The consciousness was released, and it expanded outwards in an instant, and soon felt where Jean Miaosan was. Miaosan, what happened during my retreat? Hearing his voice suddenly, Jean Miaosan was overjoyed. Brother, you finally finished your retreat. Something happened. Half an hour later, Tang San sat on the main seat of the city lord's mansion with a face like water, listening to Jean Miaosan tell what happened. There was indeed an accident, and the elders who went to the major cities had an accident. All the other teams are fine, and they have all arrived in the main city safely. The team that shouldn't have had an accident go to Crystal City, and the team is personally escorted by the newly promoted Quasi-Emperor Suanyu. Suanyu led the team of the third elders of the Blue Gold Tree clan and several Blue Gold Tree clan powerhouses who were personally escorted by the Dragon clan to be robbed. The enemy's strength is extremely powerful, and it is a sudden attack with the help of the magic circle. Suanyu was hit hard by the sudden attack. It was 3 divine weapons with one-shot attacks that exploded at the same time, which was clearly an attack that would kill it. All the dragon powerhouses accompanying Suanyu fell, as did the third elders and clan members of the Blue Gold Tree clan, and their bodies were taken away. Suanyu himself was hit hard, and he barely escaped with the help of a one-time artifact. He has now returned to Crystal City, but is bedridden because of his injuries. This matter made the ancestral court furious, and news came immediately to appease the Blue Gold Tree clan, and announced that this matter must be thoroughly investigated. The newly promoted Quasi-Emperor was raided and was almost killed. The elder of the Blue Gold Tree clan, who had just been determined to be neutral, was killed. This can be said to be an unprecedented vicious incident on the fairy continent. This was not the same as when Tang San killed the King Kong Jinghuang. He was a dignified challenge, but this raid on Suanyu was a sneak attack without any warning. Who has a grudge against Suanyu? Why raid him? From the point of view of interest, the answer can be said to be ready to come out. But without tangible evidence, who can say what? The only good thing is that Suanyu didn't die. The Dragon clan was also furious about this. All the elders of the Dragon clan went out. Some guarded Suanyu, who was severely injured, and the other part was fully investigating the incident to find out the attackers. After listening to Jean Miaosan's remarks, Tang San's face was also sinking. This incident was extraordinary, and the impact was too great. Pen Fun Library. Miaosan, I'm going to see Suanyu in Crystal City. It's up to you to take charge of Jianmu City. Although this sneak attack should be aimed at the Dragon clan, we can't be careless. Well, brother, the third elder. Although Jean Miaosan has always had a bad relationship with the elders, but since Tang San arrived and brought the Blue Gold Tree clan to its rise, it gradually grew up, began to understand the difficulties the elders used to have, and their relationship became harmonious. Hearing the bad news, Jean Miaosan even panicked, not knowing what to do. When Tang San left the border, his inner sadness burst out. This revenge will definitely be avenged. Also, help me prepare gifts. After I return from Crystal City, I will go to Carrie City to formally propose marriage. After listening to his words, the tears in Jean Miaosan's eyes subsided. Well, brother, don't worry, I will be sure. Ready, in fact, has already begun to prepare. Let me know if you have any special needs. Are you really going to Crystal City? Will it be unsafe? Tang San shook his head and said, Don't worry, I have a way to go safely, and no one should dare to touch me now. Then you must be careful. It is not difficult to guess who will take action against Suan Yu. But in the absence of evidence, even the dragons can only be incompetent and furious. However, the other party's biggest mistake was not really killing Suan Yu. If you miss this time, you won't have the chance again. But the elders of the Blue Gold Tree clan could not die in vain. Let's get to know the situation with Suan Yu first. Tang San's way of leaving is very simple: teleportation. He can teleport across continents, and naturally he can teleport to any corner of the continent. Because he has never been to the Crystal City, he cannot teleport directly, but he can teleport to the main city that he has been to at a relatively close distance, and then fly all the way to the place where the Crystal Demon King once ruled. Go to Crystal City, the largest main city in the fairy continent. From a distance, Tang San saw Ambolite. It was a city wall. The reason for the brilliance is that the sun shines on the city wall. The city walls here are completely repaired with crystal. Jingjing, you are really extravagant. To actually build a city wall with crystals, it doesn't have any defensive power, right? Tang San couldn't help complaining to Jingjing in his heart. Jingjing took it for granted. The city where I sit still needs a defensive wall? It's over if it looks good. Domineering, it really deserves to be the Crystal City. In the main city of Nuoda, the city walls are all made of crystals, and only the existence of the dragon family who likes shiny things has this capital T. This moment, Tang San's eyes moved slightly, looking in one direction. In the air, 2 giant dragons over 50 meters in length were flying towards him, with a compelling aura. Tang San stopped and waited quietly on the spot. The other party has also seen his appearance clearly at this time, and the original aggressive appearance suddenly restrained a lot. With blue skin and 8 thorns, there were originally only 4 of the Blue Gold Tree clan's great spirit kings on the entire continent. 1 died and now there are 3. Plus his age and appearance, Tang San doesn't need it at all. What to say, the identity is already ready to be revealed. Are you Jean Miaolin's crown? The 2 giant dragons quickly transformed into human figures not far from Tang San, and said respectfully, Darese Quasi-Emperor, it is a bit reluctant to use the crown, but everyone knows that Jean Miaolin will almost certainly become an emperor in the future, so it is naturally called that. Chapter 1109, Crystal City. It's me. I heard that Brother Su was seriously injured, so I came to visit and asked 2 brothers from the Dragon Clan to lead the way. Tang San said in a deep voice. The 2 dragon powerhouses looked at each other, and the dragon on the left said, Sorry, Your Majesty, the situation of our clan is special recently. We need to verify your identity. Before, someone pretended to be a member of our clan to assassinate the city lord. Understood. Tang San nodded. The golden light and shadow flickered behind him, and a huge golden circle appeared. Ong dash, the passionate dragon roar sounded, and a wicked big head took the lead to get out of the magic circle, scaring the 2 dragons to retreat quickly. Immediately afterwards, a huge body emerged from the magic circle, but it was not the fierce dragon Thanos. Thanos' originally huge body has recently become a bit bigger. This is the result of Tang San's use of life energy to help him adjust. Thanos itself is the strength of the Great Demon King's peak level, and its own destructive power is extremely terrifying. Under normal circumstances, it cannot continue to cultivate, otherwise it is not good, and it is almost certain to die when it touches the level of the Emperor, because if it does not die, once it becomes an Emperor with the power of destruction, it will be a threat to the entire plane. Huge damage. So it was even more oppressed by the plane than Tang San. But Tang San needed to constantly inject life energy into it to ensure that its consciousness wouldn't be invaded by destructive emotions, and the power of birth and death produced had nowhere to be placed. So Tang San found another way to inject more life energy into the fierce dragon's body, but it didn't change its cultivation level qualitatively, but only quantitatively, and groomed its body to make it bigger to carry energy. Under Tang San's sorting out, now the fierce dragon's consciousness has become very clear. and the state is much better than before. Thanos nodded towards Tang San, then lowered his head and took the initiative to use his big head to carry Tang San's body. The dragon eyes, which were originally full of fierce light, seemed very peaceful at this time, but because of the hideous body, they still looked very fierce. Can this prove it? Tang San asked the two dragons. The two dragons nodded quickly, and one of them said, I'm very sorry, Your Majesty, there's no problem. We'll take you to the Crystal City. I've seen the great commander. He gave a salute. Thanos just snorted and didn't speak. With the two dragons leading the way, Tang San rode the fierce dragon Thanos into the Crystal City. The area of Crystal City is very large. When the people in the city saw the huge fierce dragon flying into the city, there were bursts of exclamations. Even in this dragon's base city, such a huge dragon is very rare. Thanos didn't have much affection for the Dragon Clan. After being suppressed and enslaved for so many years, when Tang San was brought to the City Lord's mansion by the two Dragon Clan, he let it return to the contract space. The dragon powerhouses who received the news have already greeted them in front of the City Lord's mansion. Among them are some dragons who participated in the Battle of the Emperor, such as the Fire Dragon King and the Water Dragon King. Seeing Tang San, the expressions of the Dragon Clan also looked a little embarrassed. An old man who looked very old, with long golden and white hair intertwined, took the initiative to step forward. Hello, Your Majesty, I am Lu Weichao, the Chief Elder of the Dragon Clan Elder Council. Greetings to you. Tang San said politely, Elder. Hello. I just left the customs recently, and I came here as soon as I heard the news. Is Brother Su okay? The elder said bitterly. The situation is not very good. The methods used by the other party are very special. We are also very troublesome. Tang San said. Can you take me to see Brother Su? Maybe I can find a solution. I just want to trouble Your Majesty. The first elder said earnestly, the Blue Gold Tree Clan patriarch in front of him in charge of life energy. In terms of healing ability, he is definitely the #1 existence on the entire continent. It is naturally a good thing to have him treat Suan Yu. After all, he even cured the fierce dragon Thanos. Your Majesty, please. Surrounded by the Dragon Clan powerhouses, Tang San walked into the Crystal City Lord's mansion. Almost all the buildings here were related to crystals and gems, and it could be said that it was the most beautiful building complex Tang San had ever seen outside the God realm. Under the sunlight, entering this crystal palace is like entering a world of color. Each building exudes a different color because of the different crystals used. But now I don't have the heart to appreciate these. Accompanied by the Dragon Clan powerhouses, they came to a huge palace. As soon as he entered here, Tang San immediately felt several powerful breaths. They are all at the level of the Peak Demon King. As the strongest clan in the mainland, there is no doubt about the heritage of the Dragon Clan. When Tang San and Suan Yu returned to Jianmu City before, he had heard him say that the current great elder of the Dragon Clan, the elder Lu Weichao by his side, is very powerful. This is the only surviving existence that has failed to cross into the Emperor Tribulation. That is to say, this person has touched the level of the Emperor and triggered the Emperor's robbery. But because there was no vacancy on the plane, he finally faced the superpowerful Emperor's tribulation, and finally failed to transcend the tribulation. Under normal circumstances, failure to cross the tribulation is inevitable, but this one was only survived by being severely injured, and his strength can be imagined. It is not an exaggeration to describe it as a half-step emperor. However, the transcendence also hurt its root, and there is no chance to transcend the calamity again. And this one is also Suan Yu's teacher. The bedroom door opened, and there were two old men sitting cross-legged on both sides of the room. They stood up when they saw the first elder leading someone. Undoubtedly, this is all to protect Suan Yu. Tang San saw Suan Yu lying on the bed at a glance, and also felt the extremely unstable aura on his body. It is true that it is seriously injured and dying, and its breath has become very weak at this time. Tang San whispered to Lu Weichao, the great elder of the Dragon Clan beside him, "Can I take a look at it?" Tang San came to the bedside. Suan Yu lying on the bed at this time was in human form. His face was pale gold, and his whole body was thin. There are obviously many scars on the body, and the powerful self-healing ability of the dragon family can't heal. Tang San frowned, raised his hand and pinched its wrist veins. In the next instant, his pupils contracted suddenly, and his eyes widened. At this moment, the alien energy in Su Anyu's body really shocked him, because this energy made him feel very familiar. No wonder that the wound on its body could not heal. It was actually caused by this reason. That power sensed Tang San's existence, and spread domineeringly into his body. What a big hand! Tang San retracted his palm, dissolving the power that had invaded his body without a trace. Lu Weichao's eyes suddenly lit up. We have thought of all kinds of methods, and we have used all kinds of treasures, but we can only barely give it a sigh of relief. But no matter what, we can't resolve this power. Patriarch Jin feels that it's here. Tang San nodded. Lu Weichao asked eagerly, "Is there a way, Your Majesty?" Tang San was silent for a while, then said, "I can try, I can't guarantee success." Lu Weichao smiled bitterly. "You can try it for us already. I'm very happy. Please just let it go. Su Anyu's current state, he may die at any time. As long as there is a chance, they all want to try." Tang San said, "Elder, I can try to treat Brother Su, but there is a premise. I can't let other people see the treatment for it, so I need you all to quit and give me a completely quiet space. I will also block this room with divine sense, and any exploration of divine sense will not work. If you can agree, I will start to try." Chapter 11:10. Healing Part 1. Chinese. One-click direct access to Chinese domain names. The first elder was stunned, and the other elders and dragon kings around him also frowned. The hot-tempered fire dragon king couldn't help but said, "How about that, in case you..." It just said here. It was stopped by Lu Weichao's cold eyes. "It can't be delayed any longer, otherwise, it won't exceed 3 hours. Tang San said in a deep voice that he can treat Su Anyu, and in this world I am afraid that only he has this ability. But for it to be treated, it will inevitably be exposed, so it cannot be seen by the dragons present." Lu Weichao took a deep breath and said, "Your Majesty, can I stay by myself? If Your Majesty has any secrets to keep secret, no matter whether an you is cured or not, after the treatment, I am willing to die to keep the secret for you." Hearing his words, Tang San couldn't help but be moved, pondered for a while, nodded and said, "Okay, but you don't need to die. Just make a blood oath afterwards." "Okay." Lu Weichao breathed a sigh of relief. Tang San being able to promise him like this, one seemed confident, and the other didn't seem to have any other ideas, being retreated left and right, and only Tang San, the first elder Lu Weichao, and the unconscious Su Anyu were left in the room. Did no need for Tang San to remind him. The Dragon Clan Great Elder had already made a blood oath to keep secrets for what he saw and heard next. Tang San stood in front of the window. A faint blue-gold light flickered, and the rich life energy was slowly released outwards. Feeling the vibrant high-level life energy, even Lu Weichao felt refreshed and his eyes lit up. Press the right hand, and the rich life energy is slowly injected into Su Anyu's body. Su Anyu is too weak now. Before treating it, he must first add some life energy to it to ensure its safety. With the injury Su Anyu has suffered now, in this world, if only one person can cure it, then I am afraid it is only Tang San. Besides Tang San, maybe there are 2 emperors who have joined forces. There were some possibilities, but it was definitely not as good as Tang San's coordination ability alone. Under the infusion of Tang San's life energy, Su Anyu's face turned slightly ruddy, and his breath became more pronounced. Tang San didn't stop the injection of life energy, but at the same time he injected his left hand. A strange white light floated out, not falling on Su Anyu, but floating above his chest. The elder Lu Weichao watched this scene nervously. Su Anyu was like his own son to him, and he was also the hope of the Dragon Clan. The overall strength of the dragon race is undoubtedly the most powerful existence among all races, but there are also problems with such strength. Among them, one of the most important problems is that each of the different dragon clans is very strong, and they disagree with each other. Therefore, disputes are prone to occur within the dragon clan. In history, only when the dragon clan gave birth to a top-level powerhouse that could convince the crowd and fully control the entire dragon clan was the dragon clan's most powerful moment. For example, when the great crystal demon emperor was still there, as the dragon master of the first emperor, no matter how reckless the other dragon races were, they could only submit to her. The dragon clan has an unprecedented prosperity. It's just that the Crystal Demon Emperor has no interest in ruling and developing the Dragon Clan, otherwise the Dragon Clan would be stronger, and it would not be impossible for more emperors to be born. The sudden fall of the great Crystal Demon Emperor actually caught the Dragon Clan by surprise. Without her, the Emperor of the Dragon Clan would have only one Dark Demon Emperor left. As a Dark Dragon Clan, majoring in magic arts, the relationship between almost all other dragon clans is not harmonious. In order to prevent the Dark Demon King from becoming the Dragon Master, a very fierce struggle was launched within the Dragon Clan. This is also the Dragon Clan. The individual strength is too strong. Phew. Change a race, how can you resist the Emperor? In order to be able to fight against the Dark Demon King, the Dragon Clan recommended Suan Yu. No matter his strength, background, talent, and potential, Suan Yu can be said to be the leader of the Dragon Clan. But he is the most promising to become the next Crystal Demon King. This was also proved in the Battle of the Emperor. If it wasn't for Tang San's emergence, he would be the ultimate champion, and no one expected that he would be suddenly attacked when he had already become a quasi-emperor. And once Suan Yu dies, the Dragon Clan that has just been united will probably fall apart again immediately. As the great elder of the Dragon Clan, this is also the last thing Lu Weichao wants to see to so. How can it not be nervous at this moment? It does not dare to release too much consciousness to sense it, and it relies more on its own perception to feel and visual observation. When that little white light appeared, Lu Weichao's whole body was shocked. Although it was only a little light, it didn't even look very strange. But in the perception of this Dragon Clan elder, that little white light seemed to reflect the whole world, so that even its own bloodline fluctuated rapidly, and there was a feeling of wanting to integrate into the white light. At this moment, the white light trembled slightly, emitting a circle of tiny ripples, and around the tiny ripples, there seemed to be a wonderful pulling force. The halos of blue-red, two different colors, are just below the white ripples, and they start to fly out from Suan Yu's body, merge into the white light, and then disappear. Seeing this scene, Lu Weichao couldn't help widening his eyes, and his expression immediately became excited. Hope, this is hope. Before, they had used all the background of the Dragon Clan, all the methods, but there was no way to solve the energy that invaded Suan Yu's body. But at this moment, Tang San's shot, it has already begun to have effect. That's right, the energy in Suan Yu's body is very familiar to Tang San, because it's nothing else, it's the extreme energy of yin and yang. When he first felt these two kinds of energies, Tang San's first reaction was that Suan Yu's life was really big. You must know that the total amount of these two energies in Suan Yu's body is large, which is the level of the artifact level. In his body there is no chaotic energy to adjust, that is to say, such terrifying yin to yang energy has been colliding wildly in his body, and in this case it can remain immortal, except that the dragon family has used many natural materials. In addition to the earth treasure, it also has an important relationship with its own physical strength. In particular, a ray of sacred aura guarded its heart. That is the light elemental spirit who controls the divine aura to protect it, otherwise it would have died long ago. You don't need to ask Tang San to probably understand that Suan Yu was traumatized by something. That should be the product of the Tianyang Tianjing Emperor and the Earth Yin Tianjing Emperor trying to fuse yin and yang, which is the one-time artifact that the Dragon Clan said before. This thing should be the waste products produced by the two emperors during their cultivation. After all, these two must have failed to successfully integrate yin to yang. But even so, once it broke out, the terrifying invasion of yin and yang, even a quasi-emperor like Suan Yu could not stop it. Tang San could even think that when Suan Yu encountered a surprise attack, it should have been the other two explosive weapons that killed everyone else and blasted away its defense, and then the last blow was a burst of yin and yang. Directly invaded its body. It really is a lore level. It's just that Suan Yu was much more powerful than his opponent imagined, and he actually survived and returned to the Dragon Clan alive. At this moment, what Tang San released was just a little bit of chaos chi. Nothing could be easier to reconcile this yin and yang than chaos chi. By absorbing this huge amount of extreme yin to yang, it even has a great nourishing effect on the chaotic energy, and can feed back Tang San's own chaotic blue-silver emperor. Threads of red and blue air currents were continuously converging in Tang San's white chaotic air. On the other side, Tang San was also continuously injecting life energy into Suan Yu's body so that Suan Yu's physical condition could be maintained at a stable level, and he repaired the meridians that were damaged by the impact of yin and yang. Chapter 11:11. Healing below. Repair while removing erosion. Su Anyu's face suddenly became rosy at a speed visible to the naked eye, and even the somewhat shriveled body began to become plump. Seeing this scene, the great elder of the dragon clan, Lu Weichao, couldn't help but burst into tears. At that time, the dragon clan will still be in chaos, and the villain will succeed, and the future of the dragon clan will fall into darkness. When it looked at Tang San again, its eyes were already full of eagerness. Although it still doesn't know what the white energy is, it can feel that the white energy contains changes in laws. It can restrain even from yin to yang, which is definitely only seen in its life, but it subconsciously attributed this special energy to the inheritance of the ancestors. In its view, only the ancestors of the tree have the qualifications to possess this kind of energy. No wonder Jean Mirolin was able to defeat his apprentice to become a more advanced quasi-emperor. It really has a very rich background. At that time, Lu Weichao had also been watching the game. It was absolutely certain that Tang San had never used such energy in any game. Tang San didn't pull out the yin and yang alien energy in Su Anyu's body at once. One was because his body might not be able to withstand it, and the other was naturally because he couldn't absorb that much. Remove slowly and absorb slowly. This is even better than the effect of him going to Tianyang Sacred Mountain and Dian Sacred Mountain to cultivate. After all, yin and yang coexist, and it is still such a high level of energy, which is definitely a big supplement to the yin and yang blue-silver emperor. Vaguely, he could feel that, stimulated by this, the yin-yang blue-silver emperor was already evolving towards the 12th rank that as time passed by. Su Anyu's condition was getting better and better, and his breath was steady with a bit of heaviness. As a dragon clan, and the most powerful light dragon clan, his own recovery ability is super strong. When the yin to yang energy that could not be resolved in the body was continuously removed, its self-healing ability also began to change, and everything began to recover quickly. After 3 hours, Su Anyu finally slowly opened his eyes. When it just opened its eyes, the whole person was dazed and subconsciously wanted to move, but a big hand pressed his shoulder. "Don't move, Patriarch Jean is treating you." The familiar old voice calmed his mind instantly. Looking up, isn't it his own teacher? Then he looked to the side again, and saw Tang San's hands were pressing on his body. Warm life energy is being continuously injected into his body by him. At the same time, the alien energy that made him feel unbearable was constantly being pulled out. Its physical condition is improving rapidly. A complex light flashed in Su Anyu's eyes. He sighed softly, and closed his eyes again. Another hour later, when the last trace of yin and yang was removed by the power of chaos, Tang San slowly withdrew his hands. His face was pale and he stumbled subconsciously. Lu Weichao next to him hurriedly supported him. Tang San smiled slightly and said, "Fortunately, I didn't humiliate my life. They should have all been removed." The great elder's voice was a bit choked. "Thank you for your great kindness and great kindness. Patriarch Jean, no matter when in the future, the Blue Gold Tree Clan will always be my Dragon Clan's ally, and the Dragon Clan will do everything they can. Protect the nobles." Tang San looked towards the bed at this time. Su Anyu had opened his eyes again, although he was still a little weak, but under the infiltration of high-level life energy that Tang San continued to inject, his physical condition was much better. "Brother Jean, I'm sorry for you." Su Anyu smiled bitterly, turned over to sit up, barely stood up, and bowed deeply towards Tang San. Tang San said, "Let's not talk about this first, just meditate for a while and then talk about your recovery. The life energy I injected into your body should be enough for you to recover from your previous deficit, and after taking care of it, you should be able to return to you soon. The previous peak will not have any sequelae." "Great, this is really great." Great Elder Lu Weichao burst into tears with excitement. To it, Su Anyu's life is more important than his own. "Okay, then I won't be hypocritical. Let's talk about it later." Su Anyu did it cross-legged on the bed, and began to actively adjust his blood power. With the help of the first elder, Tang San also came to sit on the sofa beside him. Tang San said to the first elder, "Don't tell the outside world about Brother Su's recovery. Just say that I used my life energy to barely maintain his physical condition, and it hasn't been cured." The first elder's eyes moved. He immediately understood what Tang San meant, nodded and said, "Okay, I know what to do. Patriarch Jean, thank you so much." "You're welcome. Brother Su and I are friends from the beginning. We have also established an offensive and defensive alliance between our two clans. It is right to watch and help each other. The first elder went out to appease the other dragon clan, and Tang San also meditated in the room by himself. In fact, is he really weak? The answer is of course no. His current physical condition can be said to be unprecedented. Absorbing such a huge amount of yin and yang, it has an excellent moisturizing effect on the bloodline of the Chaos Blue Silver Emperor. This yin and yang qi is still relatively balanced, and the amount of the two is almost the same. Otherwise, it was impossible to be in an artifact before. Having absorbed so much yin and yang if he wanted to, he could now lead to a calamity. Moreover, the Chaos Blue Silver Emperor is the root of all his bloodline power. This bloodline brand becomes stronger. It will be of great help for Tang San to integrate all his own bloodline brand in the future. But the appearance still has to be pretentious. Obtaining the friendship of the dragon is not only for himself, but also to leave some capital for mankind when he leaves. Otherwise, even if escapes overseas, human beings may not have enough ability and time to develop. Guiding the movement of the yin and yang qi, the bloodline of the Chaos Blue Silver Emperor became more and more solid. In order to prevent the bloodline brand from touching the level of the Emperor, he transformed more yin and yang into the chaotic energy, and then used the chaos energy to nourish all his bloodline brand at the same time. Tang San's own bloodline imprints are numerous, and they are all extremely powerful. After going out and traveling and conquering the Emperor, he already has a basic idea. The first is to integrate all the bloodline branding abilities of oneself, with the Chaos Blue Silver Emperor as the center, and different bloodline branding should be brought together, perfected, and integrated. Finally, the ability to form a more direct application, and this process, the Chaos Blue Silver Emperor plays the most important role, which is to use the Qi of Chaos to adjust everything. In addition, the super artifact Poseidon Trident sits in the town, and he obtained the Tower of Time and Space on this plane. When he breaks through to become Emperor, all the power of the bloodline brand will become the nourishment for the position of the Sea God, allowing his Sea God to return. Therefore, all of his cultivation now is constantly reconciling his own abilities, so that these bloodline abilities continue to produce wonderful changes in the adjustment. The original last vacancy, Tang San had absorbed the power of his bloodline when he was treating Suan Yu just now. The bright sacred dragon plus the divine attributes he has comprehended. Suan Yu has not yet cultivated into a sacred giant dragon, but Tang San has already begun to have the bloodline of the sacred giant dragon, and under the influence of the power of chaos that has just been absorbed and transformed, he is directly 11 the peak of the stage. Divine attributes are common in the realm of the gods, but the planes under the gods are very rare, but it is not impossible. Generally speaking, only the existences that are most recognized by the planes can cultivate the sacred attributes. This will also play a very good role in helping him when he is robbing. Chapter 11:12. The opposite is coming. When Tang San woke up from his meditation, it was already a day later. Open your eyes, take a long breath. The bloodline of the sacred dragon has been stabilized, and the Qi of Chaos has been raised again. All the bloodline marks are under the nourishment of the Qi of Chaos, and the harmony is very stable. Brother Jean. Suan Yu changed his clothes and was sitting on the sofa next to him. It seems that it has returned to its previous state, and the aura of the whole person has not changed much. It's just that the eyes are a little less clear and a little more gloomy. Brother Su is in good health. Tang San asked. Suan Yu stood up and bowed deeply to the ground towards Tang San. Thank you, Brother Jean, for saving your life. Tang San got up and helped it up. Don't say that. We are brothers, and we are allies who watch and help each other. That's right. Suan Yu said with a wry smile. If you hadn't come in time this time, my clansmen would not know how to save me. My life would be gone. Being in it, I know even more how difficult the energy is to resolve. This time it must have caused you a lot of loss. What's more ashamed is that I failed to protect the 3 elders in them, and I am really ashamed. Tang San frowned slightly. Do you have any clues about this matter? Who attacked you? Suan Yu's face suddenly became extremely gloomy. He shook his head and said, I don't have any clues yet. The people who attacked us at that time should be at the level of the Great Demon King, but they didn't have the ability to display themselves, so they used it directly. Sexual explosive artifact. 3 pieces. There are 3 full one-time explosive artifacts, each of which is no worse than the Shushan shuttle, and the last one is an existence that I have never heard of. Escaped. From yin to yang. These two energies are currently possessed by only 2 heavenly emperors on the mainland. Tang San said in a deep voice. Suan Yu was silent for a while. We haven't asked Rich and Empire about this. It is about 2 empires, 2 races. One bad, it will lead to a huge upheaval. Tang San nodded and said, I don't think it was the hands of the 2 heavenly emperors. If they really want to harm you, they can just do it directly. You have no chance of escaping. Suan Yu nodded silently. This is probably what the murderer wanted to see, and wanted to see us face off against the 2 heavenly emperors. However, they did a good job of covering it up this time, and they didn't stay behind a trace. Tang San said indifferently, sometimes not everything needs evidence. Whoever has the greatest interest in attacking and killing you, we will acquiesce to whoever has the greatest interest. Think about it, whoever hates you the most and whoever has the most benefit if you die. Suan Yu didn't speak, but his eyes became more and more condensed. What Tang San said, he obviously had already thought of it. Now is not the time to act rashly. Wait. In this situation, it is estimated that clues will appear soon. Tang San said. This is also the reason why he did not let the elders explain to the outside world that Suan Yu was already well. Suan Yu nodded slightly. I understand, we are already making preparations. Since he has made a move, he will definitely have the next action, otherwise it will be meaningless. The ability of Yin and Yang is so terrifying. He must be the clearest, and he will never think that you can relieve the invasion of Yin and Yang for me. Tang San thought for a while, then said, Brother Su, if it's convenient, find me a quiet room in the City Lord's mansion. I want to stay with you to cultivate for a while. What do you think? Suan Yu's eyes lit up and the circles under his eyes were a little red. Brother Jean, I really don't know what to say. You are really my savior. Tang San smiled and said, It's all set to help each other. It's not just me. I'm going to invite my fiancé too. In the history of the mainland, this is called the first battle of the 3 quasi-emperors joining forces. Suan Yu took a deep breath. Brother Jean. Tang San waved his hand and said, Don't say anything, we'll talk about this when we're done. This is also to avenge my clan. Could it be that my clan elder died in vain? Suan Yu raised his hand to shake Tang San's hand. I don't need to say anything else, it's all in my heart. Young Master Mei was naturally teleported. The Crystal City was not as far as Jianmu City. Tang San didn't need to build a magic circle. After Suan Yu arranged a quiet room where no one would disturb him, he teleported back directly through the Tower of Time and Space. After arriving at Carrie City, he took the beautiful sun and teleported back. You're so kind to Suan Yu. After hearing Tang San tell what happened, young Master Mei couldn't help but say. Tang San smiled slightly and said, The Dragon Clan is the first race in the mainland, and the strong are like clouds. With the unconditional support of the Dragon Clan, it will be much easier for us to become an emperor. The first strong clan is only in terms of luck and suppression. In terms of planes, there are abilities unmatched by other races. When the time comes, if the Dragon Clan and the Phoenix Demon Clan are on our side, it will be of great benefit for us to transcend the tribulation. What's more, the justifiable Tu Huang this kind of thing, I like it the most. Dead King, it will be easier for us to cross the robbery. Young Master Mei smiled and said, You're a bit of a conspirator. Tang San said, The conspirators are not strong enough. If the strength is enough, there is no need for any conspiracy. Young Master Mei said, Then when do you estimate the other party will come? Tang San raised 5 fingers. Young Master Mei said, Within 5 days? Then Tang San put away a finger. Young Master Mei was stunned for a moment. Then Tang San put away another finger. 3, 2, 1. At this moment a grand voice resounded in the sky. The Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor is here. And the clans will pick you up. Young Master Mei blinked. The 5 fingers turned out to be the countdown. Over the Crystal City, the sky became dark at some point, and huge black dragons shuttled through the dark clouds, and a strong sense of oppression also fell from the sky. At this moment a huge purple beam of light descended from the sky and projected directly onto the square in front of the main mansion of Crystal City. The Dark Demon Emperor was wearing a black cloak with purple cloud patterns on it. The powerful aura of the Emperor level instantly shocked the group. In the air, huge black dragons also descended from the sky, and in the process of descending, they turned into human figures and surrounded the Dark Demon Great Demon King, 6 black dragons at the level of the Great Demon King, and 12 black dragons at the king level on the side of Crystal City. The elder Lu Weichao has come to the square, and the figures of the strong dragons have also appeared, guarding Lu Weichao and staring at the Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor. What is the intention of my Crystal City when the Dark Demon is crowned? Lu Weichao stared at the Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor with cold eyes. The Dark Demon Emperor sighed and said, "Old Lu, I heard that Yu was seriously injured, so I came to visit him. Let's see if he can be treated. How is his current condition?" Lu Weichao said indifferently. "The situation is stable and will soon be back to health. Don't worry, Your Majesty." The Dark Demon King frowned slightly and said, "Old Lu, you and I may be the only ones left in the dragon clan of our age. When we were young we fought a lot, but after all we are all from the same clan. Is it the attitude towards the emperor of your own family?" Lu Weichao sneered and said, "Don't dare to be of the same family as Your Majesty. His Majesty is darkness, I am light. When did the same family pass? And you needs to rest, Your Majesty, please come back now." "Bold. Offending the emperor, what's the crime?" A dark dragon demon king beside the dark demon king shouted angrily, and the powerful momentum erupted, pressing towards Lu Weichao overwhelmingly. Lu Weichao smiled coldly, motionless, golden light flashed on his body. All the darkness was swept away in an instant, and even the dark coercion oppressed by the Dark Demon King was instantly oppressed by half. Chapter 11:13, Surrender or Die. The Great Demon King of the Dark Dragon Clan suddenly changed his face. The Great Elder of the Dragon Clan really deserved to be called the Half-Emperor. The Dark Demon Emperor said, "Old Lu is the Great Elder of the clan, and he must not be presumptuous." As he spoke, he took a step forward, and the purple cloud pattern of the black cloak on his body flickered slightly. It became more gloomy, and there was a faint sound of thunder. The fine raindrops also fell from the sky, adding a bit of haze to the Crystal City. Lu Weichao's face changed slightly and he said, "What is Your Majesty's intention?" The Dark Demon King said lightly, "I just want to see on you. Crystal City is the largest city in the mainland today. It just became the city owner. As the saying goes, dragons cannot be without a head. How can Crystal City have no city owner? What? It's hurt, and I'm willing to help it heal its wounds so that I can return to the city as soon as possible. If it dies..." Lu Weichao stared at the Dark Demon Emperor and said, "If it dies, what will you do?" The Dark Demon King said indifferently, "I said just now that the dragons cannot be without a leader, and I am the only emperor of the current dragon clan. You said before that the dragon clan will soon give birth to a second emperor. Well, I will wait. I also agree with Anyu's ability. But if it is gone, then I want to ask you so-called elders, who can lead the dragon clan? Do we have to let our clan fall apart? Crystal City is a territory that our clan cannot lose. Without the emperor's suppression, can it be preserved?" Lu Weichao said with a gloomy face, "This is not to worry about, Your Majesty. Since the day the Crystal City was born, it has never been shrouded in darkness. The dark dragons are not qualified to survive here, let alone control this place. It was a referendum by the Council of Elders. No dark attributes or magic weapons are allowed to enter the Crystal City. Have you forgotten? What if you were the emperor? At the beginning, if you hadn't persecuted me in a sinister way, it would have been your turn to be the emperor. The person." The Dark Demon Emperor laughed when he heard it. "Old Lu, it seems that you are still brooding about what happened back then. The emperor's position is virtuous, so what if you missed the opportunity yourself? You can blame me. Get out of the way and let me see on you." As he spoke, he raised his hand and patted it towards Lu Weichao. His palm looked light and fluttering, but at the moment of the shot, there seemed to be a purple-black light flashing like an eye in the palm of his hand. Lu Weichao snorted angrily and threw out a fist. In an instant, its fist had turned white gold at the moment when the two collided. No energy fluctuations came out. This was a situation where the energy was extremely restrained, and none of them wanted to destroy the city lord's mansion. There was a soft sound of "pft," and the Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor remained motionless, but Lu Weichao's expression changed, and he stepped back 6 steps in succession before barely standing still. The Dark Demon King praised, "Yes, it is worthy of being called the Half-Emperor. Under the Emperor, you are the first to catch my attack like this." As he spoke, he continued to move forward. At the same time, it is a palm shot. The other dragon powerhouses who were guarding the elders still wanted to intervene, but were quickly separated by the dark dragon powerhouses beside the dark demon emperor. Today, the dark dragons are all out, and naturally it is impossible to return empty-handed. Lu Weichao stepped back again, this time taking 8 steps back, his face flushed. "It's you, right? The one who attacked, and you was the one you sent," Lu Weichao said with a grim expression. The Dark Demon King said lightly, "Old Lu, don't spit your blood. Do you have any evidence that I sent someone? Get out of the way, you are not my opponent, let me see in you. If everything is safe, I will leave naturally. Otherwise, what if?" The elder said with a split eye. The Dark Demon Emperor said indifferently, "Otherwise, let this crystal city change to a new day. You dare? Although you are an emperor, don't forget that this is the foundation of the dragon family." Lu Weichao said with cold eyes, and at this moment, a sound of dragon roar sounded, and around the square, one after another silhouette quickly appeared. They all appear in human form, but their bodies are covered with scales of different colors. Dragons, all of them are dragons. Fire dragons, water dragons, wind dragons, earth dragons, poison dragons, metal dragons, and so on. But they are all strong dragons. There are more than 100 dragon powerhouses above the king level alone, and there are more than 20 dragon powerhouses at the level of the Great Demon King. Yes, this is the background of the Dragon Clan, and it is also the root of why Crystal City dares to fight against the Dark Dragon Clan with the Emperor. The Dark Demon King's face changed slightly, and he said solemnly, "Old Lu, are you going to provoke a civil war between our Dragon Clan?" Lu Weichao scolded angrily. "You are the despicable villain who provoked the civil war of the Dragon Clan. Back then you secretly attacked me in order to seize the opportunity, and then took up my qualifications to become emperor. After all these years, you are still among the emperors of the Tianyu Empire. Are you worthy of the pride of being a dragon clan? If I was the emperor and I cooperated with the Crystal Crown, the Tianyu Empire would have long been our dragon clan's world. But you have occupied the position as a waste, what can you do? Today you still have the face to invade the Crystal City. If the Crystal City falls into your hands, it will be the tragedy of the entire dragon clan. Even if I fight for this old life, I will not let you succeed." The Dark Demon King's eyes gradually became colder. "Old Lu, you are still so stubborn. It's always the same. Do you think that you can compete with me by virtue of having a lot of people? What do you think this is?" As he spoke, he turned his left hand, and there was an extra object in his palm. When this item appeared, the air immediately became dignified. It was a bead, and it didn't look very conspicuous, but when the Dark Demon Emperor took it out, a gray halo emanated from the surface of the bead. Immediately, all the dragon powerhouses present felt an extremely uncomfortable sense of oppression, as if their hearts were pressed against a mountain. Lu Weichao's expression changed abruptly. "The Pearl of Fortune. How dare you use the Pearl of Fortune in the main city of our clan's ancestral land? Are you crazy?" Yes, when the Dark Demon Dragon Clan photographed the Orb of Doom by means, it was not only intended to be used in the Battle of the Emperor. As an artifact, the Orb of Doom fell into the hands of the Dark Demon King, the Emperor who was best at using magic tools. Unless the Heavenly Fox Demon Emperor stood on his opposite side, then few of the existing emperors could defeat him. A frenzy flashed through the eyes of the Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor. Looking at the Orb of Doom in his hand, there was even a bit of obsession in his eyes. "I've been waiting for this artifact for too long." Qianhui, he was reluctant to give it to me at first, but he understood that only in my hands can this bad luck be better reduced. If the dragons help me, you are my people. If you have never darkened me, the Dragon Clan is regarded as a clan. Why should I regard you as a clan? Today you only have two choices, either surrender or die. D. Following the words, the Orb of Doom in the hands of the Dark Demon King suddenly burst into a strong aura, and the sense of oppression instantly became stronger, and even the building of the Crystal City Lord's mansion seemed to be covered with a layer of gray. As the first strong family, the Dragon Clan naturally has extremely powerful luck, and the fate of the Doom Pearl needs to be balanced by luck. If the Dark Demon King fully mobilizes the energy of this Doom Orb, then the luck of the entire Dragon Clan will be deprived of it, and the Dragon Clan is likely to be at a loss. The Pearl of Doom in the hands of the Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor is not the same as in the hands of Li Xiaoping at the beginning. Driven by the power of the Emperor level, the Orb of Doom is definitely the top artifact. In particular, the Dark Demon King himself is good at driving magic weapons, and the Orb of Doom would not easily attack him. Chapter 11:14 See the picture challenge the Emperor. The expressions of all the dragons present became gloomy. Of course, they did not want to be enslaved by the dark dragons, but in such a situation they had no choice. Even if they were able to fight against the Dark Demon Great Demon King by virtue of their numerical advantage, they couldn't fight against the Orb of Doom. Once bad luck comes to Crystal City, not only will they be unable to resist it, but it will even deprive the entire dragon race of luck, which they cannot afford. Lu Weichao took a deep breath. Dark Demon, do you really want to do something like this? Do you know that by doing this, your Dark Demon Dragon Clan is the sinner of the entire Dragon Clan? The Dark Demon King said lightly. If you all surrender to me and let me become the Lord of the Dragon Clan, with the Pearl of Fortune, I can also become strong enough in the near future. It may not be impossible to become the first emperor. Dragon Clan, it will still be the #1 powerhouse. Lu Weichao said coldly. At that time there were other dragons who came forward? I'm afraid it will only be your Dark Demon dragons, right? The Dark Demon King said indifferently. The world of fairies is where the weak eat the strong, and the strong are respected. Strength is the foundation of everything. I don't have time to waste with you. Do you surrender? Raised up. See the picture, it's nothing more than that, right? A Qinghua voice sounded at this moment. The Dark Demon King's face changed slightly, and he looked in one direction subconsciously. A blue figure descended from the sky and quietly landed on the ground. The 8 thorns on his back were open, and he was watching him calmly. Seeing this person's appearance, the Dark Demon King's face suddenly turned ugly. Jean Mirolan, you are not planning to marry your sweet wife in the Blue Gold Tree Clan. What do you mean by coming to my Dragon Clan? At this moment, Li Xiaoping was beside the Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor, and when he saw Tang San, his expression became more and more gloomy. At the beginning, he was bounced back by Tang San's power of doom, and then he withdrew from the battle of occupying the Emperor. According to the original plan of the Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor, it was to let it attack Suan Yu. If it was successful, then where would it be necessary to do so much now? For Jean Mirolan, the Dark Demon Dragon Clan can be said to hate him to the core. Tang San said indifferently, my clan elder was attacked and killed. I naturally want to investigate it clearly. It seems that the answer is ready to come out now. I didn't expect your majesty to be so hasty, and come here so impatiently. The Dark Demon King said coldly. Jean Mirolan, don't spit your blood. What does the attack on Suan Yu and your clan have to do with my Dark Demon Dragon Clan? Today, it's a dispute within our Dragon Clan. Even the ancestral court can't control it. Come here. You'd better leave as soon as possible to avoid accidental injury. For Tang San, he was still very jealous. This person is not only the head of the clan, but also a quasi-emperor, who has also obtained the inheritance of the Crystal Demon King. The Pearl of Fortune had been shriveled in front of him before, so it's better not to offend such an existence if you can. Moreover, the neutral Blue Gold Tree family is helpful to any race, and life energy, even the Dark Dragon, is very needed. That if it weren't for the special circumstances of today, he would definitely be nice to Tang San, or even win over 1 or 2. Tang San shrugged his shoulders and said, I said before that some things don't need concrete evidence. Whoever has a vested interest is the murderer. Didn't you just say that? The world of goblins is all about the weak and the strong. The most respectable. If my strength is stronger than you, then I say you are the murderer and you are. What's more, I can't think of anyone who can make such a decisive shot and have this kind of background. Your Majesty, the death of the 3rd clan elder and the clan members should also give me an explanation. Looking at Tang San, the Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor's eyes flashed with a gloomy and uncertain look, not because he was afraid that Tang San had restrained the divine attributes of the Doom Pearl last time. The same divine weapon, used in the hands of different levels of powerhouses mighty. It would be completely different. He believed that the Orb of Doom in his hands, apart from the Heavenly Fox Demon Emperor, was absolutely unstoppable by any other force. Chapter 11:15 Fighting the Dark Demon King. As the Emperor, the Dark Demon Emperor is also very decisive. Without any hesitation, he held the Orb of Fortune in his left hand, and his right hand opened his palm in Tang San's direction to make a virtual grab. Immediately, the sky became more gloomy, and a huge black dragon claw suddenly fell from the sky, heading straight for Tang San's direction to grab it. It was like a punishment from heaven with an incomparably tyrannical aura. Tang San, however, was not afraid, took another step forward, and the holy dragon spear slanted toward the sky. The splendid divine breath burst out, and the spear glowed and stabbed into the heart of the black dragon's claws. When, in the roar, the sky was dark, as if the whole sky was about to fall, but the black dragon claws were stabbed in the air by the sacred dragon spear and stagnated. Tang San's eyes shone with dazzling brilliance. "Come on, under the crown of the dark demon, let's compete in the air." The next moment, the fierce dragon behind him had already carried his body and shot straight into the AI in the mid-air. Within the dark clouds, a black dragon with a length of more than 1,000 meters has already drilled out of the clouds. However, the figure of the dark demon king on the ground began to become dim and illusory. The orb of doom turned into a light and shadow, rose into the sky surrounded by the illusory figure, and fell on the black dragon and disappeared. There is no doubt that this kilometer giant dragon is the body of the dark demon great demon emperor. Whether it was Tang San, the fierce dragon under him, or the crystal dragon following him, they were all very insignificant compared to the 1,000-meter black giant. But he was in the air, and the divine aura blooming on his body was the power of doom that resisted the doom beat on the ground. The elder Lu Weichao led many dragons to surround the dark dragons. In terms of overall strength, without considering the emperor, the Dark Dragon clan obviously cannot compare with the Dragon clan of Crystal City. Since you have to participate, then I will take you down first, and then send you to the ancestral courtyard. Kilometer Heilung let out a low roar. Today's matter. The sooner it is resolved, the better it will be for him. If it drags on for a long time, variables will easily occur. After all, this is Crystal City, the largest main city in the mainland. Other emperors would definitely not want to see such a main city fall into his hands. The pitch-black dragon force frantically spread in Tang San's direction. The whole sky was covered with dark clouds, and soon Tang San's figure was no longer visible. In the darkness, Tang San's mouth curved into a smile, hiding it. "Cover it up." "Holy!" Tang San raised the sacred dragon spear in his hand, and a brilliant orange-gold light shot up into the sky, suppressing bad luck and darkness. The pressure in all directions is still huge. After all, it is the power of the emperor level. "Dark demon, great demon emperor, look at who I am." At this moment a clear drink sounded. A golden light lit up in the distance, and a giant dragon with a white body and a golden light all over its body was heading here. The flying shot came, and a man stood proudly on the back of the giant dragon. Isn't that the current Crystal City Lord, the patriarch of the Guangming Dragon clan, and the quasi-emperor Suanyu? Behind Suanyu, the six-winged light element elf burst out with dazzling brilliance, and the incomparable power of light burst out, instantly illuminating the large dark clouds into gold, and driving the darkness away. "You're not dead." The dark demon great demon emperor was shocked. Even when he saw Tang San he didn't surprise him so much, but at this moment he was really a little panicked. The group of dragons below saw Suanyu, who was suddenly born out of the sky, and he was still a little nervous at first. For them, if there is no emperor, it is impossible to compete with the Dark Demon King. The existence of Suanyu is to ensure that there will be an emperor in Crystal City. If it dies, then the Crystal City will be invaded sooner or later, and it is not necessarily a bad thing to be ruled by the Dark Demon King. And now Suanyu is not only alive but also in peak condition at first glance, so what else can be said? Chapter 11:16. Slaughter the Emperor again. Remember for a second. A painful roar erupted from the mouth of the Dark Demon King, and the next moment, the black light from its entire body bloomed like a blowout. The kilometer-long body shrunk by nearly a third, but an overwhelming force sent Tang San, Suanyu, and the fierce dragon flying out at the same time. Heilung had several ferocious wounds on his body, and his huge body trembled constantly. The power of the divine attribute, the power of the light attribute, the power of the destruction attribute, plus the yin and yang that Tang San injected into his body. At this moment, the Dark Demon King only felt severe pain all over his body. Although he reluctantly suppressed these alien energies with his powerful strength, it was not something that could be completely eliminated in a short time. The huge black dragon shrunk rapidly, and in an instant it had reshaped into a human appearance. The intense pain made the expression of the Dark Demon King distorted at this time. "Death, all of you will die. How dare you hurt me? You all give I'm going to die." The orb of doom flew into the air, and the gray airflow erupted. At the same time, the Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor had a long sword in his hand, and the whole body exuded an evil aura. Top magic weapon. Suanyu pointed the front of the dragon spear in his hand, and the light attribute on his body exploded wildly. "Give me the Doom Pearl," Tang San said in a deep voice. "Okay." Suanyu burst out with the power of light all over his body. Among all the Great Demon Emperors, the Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor is ranked lower, which is also an important reason why he has never been able to become the Dragon Lord. Suanyu, as the Quasi-Emperor, is really not afraid of him. What's more, there are the elders as backing that. Suanyu slowly raised the dragon spear in his hand, and his eyes became transparent at this moment. A faint golden brilliance bloomed in the air, but a strange halo was faintly catching up below. The crystal dragon following Tang San glanced at it and nodded slightly. The crystal clear brilliance turned into layers of strange halos, pouring into Suanyu's hands, and suddenly the bright armor on his body was coated with a layer of crystals. At this moment, it feels as if it has been integrated with the entire crystal city. Tang San had seen such a scene in Carrie City. That was used when the Peacock Demon King fought against the Jingfeng Demon King. This was the power of a city's luck. In this respect, the number one on the entire continent was not Crystal City, but the Jinmu City currently in charge of Tang San. Why is the Blue Gold Tree clan so coveted? Yet Jinmu City is still under control. It is because there is a tree ancestor sitting in the town. The luck of Jinmu City itself is extremely strong. Although there is no tree ancestor in Crystal City, as the largest city in the fairy continent, the Dragon Clan has been in business for many years, and it has the strongest race. At this time, Suanyu borrowed the power of Crystal City, and even the Dark Demon Emperor couldn't help it. Discoloration. You have already been recognized by the Crystal City. When he said this, the face of the Dark Demon King, who was in severe pain in his body, was a little distorted. Jealousy, anger, pain, all kinds of negative emotions constantly eroded him, coupled with a certain degree of backlash from the Pearl of Doom. The Emperor could no longer control his emotions. "Yes, today, I will punish you on behalf of the Dragon Clan." Suanyu stared at the Dark Demon King with cold eyes. The bright dragon under him let out a long roar, and suddenly, the whole Crystal City was echoed with dragon roars. Suanyu's own breath skyrocketed wildly, and in the blink of an eye, he had already rushed towards the Dark Demon King. The Dark Demon King roared angrily, and the gray airflow of the bead of doom above his head condensed and covered Suanyu. But at this moment, a strange white light suddenly shot up, shining on the doom bead. Immediately, the doom bead trembled violently and the force of doom released to the outside actually disintegrated at this moment. It didn't fall on Suanyu at all. Boom dash. The long sword of the magic weapon and Suanyu's dragon spear collided fiercely. In the sky, gold and black erupted at the same time, turning the sky into a bizarre two-color. The Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor was not able to take advantage of it, and both sides were stunned by the shock of the shock at the same time. Point one is because the Orb of Doom did not work, and the Dark Demon King suffered a certain backlash. The other is because Suanyu, with the help of the power of Crystal City at this time, has been elevated to the level of an emperor. The Demon King was injured by surprise before, and the two sides were even tied. And at this time the Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor had already woken up a bit. He knew that he would definitely not be able to succeed today. Since Suanyu is not dead, this is the home court of others, and if he continues, I am afraid that he will suffer a big loss. Don't dare to hesitate anymore. As the saying goes, if you keep the green hills without worrying about no firewood, the Dark Demon King angrily shouted. Suanyu, I have the good intentions to see your injury. How dare you offend the Emperor and wait for the trial of the ancestral court? Let's go. After he finished speaking, he didn't respond to his subordinates either. He turned around, turned into a black light, and fled into the distance. Come as soon as you say it and leave as soon as you say it? How about you mutilating the third elder of my clan? A figure blocked his way. The orange gold light full of sacred aura transformed into a circle of wonderful arcs in the air, one circle to the left and one circle to the right. In the strange twisted halo fluctuations, just like that from the escaping black light, the dark demon was destroyed. The figure of the emperor stopped him. No, to be precise, it should be tied down. With the cultivation base of the dark demon great demon emperor at this moment, he was unable to move. And his eyes froze for a moment. He looked at Jean Miaolin in front of him in horror, and in an instant he remembered something. Bang. Before he could shout, Suan Yu behind him had already taken the boost of Crystal City, and flew with all his strength. The dragon spear with a dazzling golden light instantly penetrated the dark demon king from behind. Body. Puffed. The tip of the gun stabbed out of his chest. Tang San reached out and grabbed it, just in time to grab the tip of the spear protruding, and the orange-gold divine aura burst forth, instantly turning the dragon spear into an orange-gold brilliance, and completely changing the voice of the dark demon great demon emperor. Stuck in the throat this moment, above the higher sky, a red light descended from the sky, as if to sever the world. The dark demon great demon king, whose whole body was enveloped by divine power, only felt his soul tremble, and he wanted to shout madly, but he couldn't make a sound. Suan Yu instantly withdrew his dragon spear, and a ray of blood swept past in the next instant. The dark demon king's eyes were dull, and all the dark auras in the sky became chaotic at this moment. Another figure appeared in the sky, a long silver dress, a blood-red sword, and long black hair floating behind his head. Isn't it the final champion of the Battle of the Emperor, the first quasi-emperor, the city lord of Carrie City, and the patriarch of the Peacock Monster clan, young Master Mei? Even without Suan Yu's shot from behind, when the Dark Demon King was trapped, her sword broke out, Judgment. Lore. A red glow spreads down from the forehead of the Dark Demon Great Demon Sovereign, and its body began to collapse in the red glow. Even the sea of consciousness turned into black airflow in the judgment of the red glow. Dissipate, disappear. Being slashed by the Azura Divine Sword, not only the body will fall, but even the consciousness will be wiped out. Suan Yu's eyes were a little dull at this time, and he felt a little unbelievable until this moment. It's not just a win. Originally, in his opinion, as long as Jing Tian can drive away the Dark Demon King, he has already won. As the saying goes, it is not too late for a gentleman to take revenge for 10 years. Now his strength is not as good as that of the Dark Demon King, but in the future he will succeed. After the Emperor it will be different. At that time it will not be too late to clean up this villain. Unexpectedly, with the help of Jean Miaolin and young Master Mei, this feud seems to have stayed overnight. This Dark Demon Emperor, the patriarch of the Dark Dragon clan, was actually beheaded in the sky of the Crystal City. Slaughtering the Emperor, actually slaughtering the Emperor again? Chapter 11:17 Blood Rain Drifting. Why say it again? The Jean Miaolin in front of him, with the support of the power of the ancestors, also killed the King Kong Jing Huang. No, was the King Kong Jing really killed by the power of the tree ancestors? At this moment, Suan Yu suddenly had a big question mark in his heart. Just when he pierced through the body of the Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor, he didn't feel any resistance, and before that, the Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor was controlled by Tang San. What kind of power is this? Even an emperor who can control it can't move a bit? It was only at this moment that he finally understood that even in the final confrontation with him in the Battle of the Emperor, he did not use all his strength. Little Marquis, hurry up, it's our turn to patrol. Where am I? Qin, who sat up in a daze, feeling cold on his body, and the wind was blowing outside, and suddenly felt strange in his heart. Oh, little Marquis, why are you confused? We are in the barracks. It's our turn to send guards at this hour. If you can't afford it, the military law will deal with it. Now the old Marquis can't protect you. What? Qin, who opened his eyes and saw that he was staying in a tent with a soldier in leather armor in front of him, just when he wanted to open his mouth to ask something, he suddenly had a splitting headache, and a huge flow of information rushed into his mind, and after a few seconds he knew that he had passed through. He passed from a modern special soldier to a young Marquis named Qin who is the head of the 7 evil young men in the capital, and this era called the Dayu dynasty did not exist in history at all. Qin, whose ancestor was one of the 28 Marquis of the founding fathers of Dayu. His father died of illness 3 months ago, and Qin, who became the new champion Marquis Qin, who was spoiled by his parents since he was a child. He didn't like to read or practice martial arts. When he grew up, his family wanted him to take care of him, so they decided on a marriage. The woman was the eldest lady of Chen Guogong's family, named Chen Ruoli, a famous girl and a beautiful woman. This Qin Hu is extremely vicious to others, but he treats this beautiful fiancée as a treasure. But the thing happened to this childhood sweetheart, Miss Chan. According to Qin Hu's memory, he brought his fiancée into the palace that day to visit Princess Chang'an. The princess and Chen Ruoli had been friends since childhood, so they arranged a banquet, but later Qin Hu drank the film, and when he woke up, he had already arrived at the imperial prison of the inner guard. He was told that he was drunk and molested the princess with the intention of doing something wrong. What's even weirder is that Chen Ruoli actually wrote a letter to impeach Qin Hu, his fiancée, for 72 illegal things. Qin Hu was like 5 thunderbolts at the time. He couldn't believe his ears. The imperial decree came down very soon. If you have meritorious deeds on the ancestors of Qin Hu, the death penalty can be avoided, and the death penalty cannot be escaped. He will be assigned to Yuzhou, serve in the army, and retain the title for the sake of future effects. But after arriving in Yuzhou, he was quickly assigned to the front line of pioneer. After going through these things in Qin Hu's mind, he basically understood that this should be a trap, because Chen Guogong wanted to break off the marriage with him for a long time. The Qin family and the Chen family were originally political marriages, and both wanted to become stronger and bigger. But the later Qin Hu was almost useless except for being a playboy. It can be said that he lost the face of the champion Hofu. You must know that the champions of all dynasties are all heroes and have unparalleled influence in the army, but this generation has produced a waste who has never been on the battlefield. When the old marquis was alive, Chen Guogong returned his face. When the old marquis died, Chen Guogong turned his face ruthlessly, and even staged a scene of divorce in the morning hall. But Qin Hu loves Chen Ruoli so much that he is not allowed to live or die, but Chen Ruoli has long been very disgusted with him as a villain, and so a disaster happened. As for Princess Chang'an, it is even simpler. She is Qin Hu's cousin. As long as Qin Hu is dead, the huge family property of the champion Ho's mansion will naturally fall to this cousin. These forces each got what they needed, and they were united in one spirit, so they quickly united. Sure enough, as soon as he entered the Homen, it was as deep as the sea, and there were so many people who wanted him to die. Qinan, do you think we can find a place to be backed by the wind? Under the bright moonlight, the rough north wind with a harsh whistle swept across the open field, and blew a few torches on and off, more like countless flying knives slicing human skin. No, little marquis, it will be dealt with by military law. Qin Hu and Qinan shrank their heads against the wind, ran out of the camp, and ran forward on the heavy snow. The thin Qinan was inadvertently overturned by the strong wind. When the 2 sentries who switched defenses saw them come out, they looked at each other with a smirk, took 2 handfuls of snow and put out the warm bonfire, and then got into the tent. Damn, even the soldiers have been bought, and I want to freeze to death. This is a small-scale camp with about 20 tents, surrounded by horse-drawn carriages, and the antlers of the antlers are not lined up. According to the memory of Qin Hu's previous life, there were about 200 people stationed here. They were the vanguard battalion of Li Qin, the general of Yu Chao's expedition to the north. The target of Li Qin's army of 20,000 this time was the ancient enemy of the Yu dynasty on the border, the Liaodong kingdom. Cough, little marquis, do you think we can go back alive? Qinan's whole body was curled up on the snow, his lips and face were blue, and he was weak when he spoke, as if he would die at any time. Qin Hu sighed in his heart. Qinan was completely implicated by himself, and if things continued like this, they would definitely die. Those who wanted him to die didn't kill him in the courtroom, but slapped him with black hands in the barracks and killed him. But Qin Hu is by no means a person who sits and waits for death. This is obviously a matter of being framed, and he can't take a break. Life is an endless struggle to survive. Just wait, I will not only live, but also go back to the capital and settle accounts with you. Qinan, how many banknotes did we bring when we went out? I don't have any silver notes. I only have 20 taels of silver on my body. The imperial edict said that we were allotted to the army, and our family property was banned. Qinan is only 16 years old this year. He is Qin Hu's personal book boy. In fact, Qin Hu was not much better. These days the pioneer camp marched for 30 miles a day. The work they did was to build bridges on every mountain and water, chopping firewood and burning fire, digging ditches to carry water and building camps. And what would be the situation of these two thin-skinned and tender-fleshed guys staying with hundreds of 5 big and 3 thick choba every day? It must be the most tiring job, the worst meal, the worst beating, and the most angry. Qin, who estimated that his predecessor might have been tortured to death. Maybe he deserved it, it's just that he has to bear this suffering now. If he can't bear it, he will die. Give me. Qin, who thought about it, he must first try to save Qinen's life, and then think of other ways, and it is not difficult to save one's life. The easiest way is to pay bribes. As the saying goes, money can be used for the gods. Although this method is primitive, it will always work. But in this situation, it is impossible for him to bribe high-ranking officials, because no one dares to get involved with him. Not to mention no money. So he thought of a person in his mind, the centurion Li Xiaoquan. That is, the current leader of the Pioneer Battalion. If you want to see the latest chapter content, please the latest chapter content for free without ads. The website has not updated the content of the latest chapters, and the content of the latest chapters has been updated in Ayuya. Chapter 1118. Post hoc analysis. It's all handled properly. It has been reported to the ancestral court. We will go to Black Dragon City early tomorrow morning. Lu Weichao said to Suanyu. Suanyu nodded and said, I'm afraid the ancestral court will not let us take over the Black Dragon City so easily. What do you think of this matter? Lu Weichao said solemnly. Before you become an emperor, we should keep a low profile as much as possible. The Black Dragon City cannot be used, let them fight for it, but the Dark Dragon clan must be in our hands, and the Dragon clan is unified. Even if there is no emperor for the time being, the ancestral court and the other races don't dare to do anything to us. After you become emperor, it should be ours, and naturally it will be ours. Suanyu said. Well, that's what I think too. I'd rather shrink first than go ahead. The affairs of the clan will be handed over to you next. I will do my best to prepare to attack the emperor. I will strive for an early breakthrough. Lu Weichao said with concern. Don't be too hasty. It's impossible to be rash. Your stable emperor is the best situation. I understand the teacher. To be honest, after going through this incident, I feel like I have taken another step forward. I have to say that I have learned a lot from Jean Miaolin. Lu Weichao moved in his heart and said, And you have more contact with Jean Miaolin. What do you think of this person? Suanyu moved slightly and said, Jean Miaolin is not simple. I thought I knew him quite well, but after today's battle, I realized that he is hidden deeper than I thought. Today it seems that the last fatal attack was done by me and young Master Mei. But in fact, the battle against the Dark Demon King was under his dominance from beginning to end. It was he who suppressed the Doom Bead and let the Doom Bead's power not only fail to play out, but also backfired on the Dark Demon King. It was also that he controlled the Dark Demon King twice without knowing what means to use so that we could kill first after trauma. It can be said that the whole battle was under his control. He's more powerful than I thought. Lu Weichao said thoughtfully. What do you mean Jean Miaolin hadn't used all his strength in the previous battle for the Emperor? Suanyu nodded and said, That should be the case. He must have had reservations at that time, and even I thought he was covering up something, so as not to be discovered by the emperors watching the battle. Today with the Dark Demon in the battle of the Emperor, he obviously needs to be more calm. From the beginning, he has a feeling that he is in control of everything. This is not seen in the battle of the Emperor. As for strength, I have self-knowledge. If it is normal in the face of any emperor with my current strength, it is impossible to defeat the opponent, and it is not easy to maintain an unbeaten for a while. Only with the help of the power of Crystal City, it is possible to reluctantly fight against low-ranking emperors. But Jean Miaolin is different. I think that he already has the strength to defeat the low-ranking emperor, far above me and young Master Mei. He is already at the level of the emperor. I really don't know what kind of strength he will have when he crosses the calamity and becomes an emperor. I said to him before that I asked him to save me some space when he became emperor, and he agreed very happily. Then he told me today that he has done it. This makes me feel that it seems that preparations have been made to slaughter the emperor. This guy is really strong, very strong. Lu Weichao nodded and said, It's true, he can solve all the troublesome and serious injuries on your body. Plus today's battle, he gives me the feeling that he is omnipotent. It seems that nothing can stop him. Now the relationship with him is friendly and close. Such a partner is essential. I think he is also very friendly to our dragon clan, and he controls the fierce dragon himself, inheriting the ability of the Crystal Demon Emperor. Such an existence cannot be an enemy, can only be a partner. From him, I seem to see the potential of the future ancestral court master. Suanyu sighed and said, "It seems that with him around, I can't reach the level of the crystal crown before." Lu Weichao smiled slightly and said, "You don't have to think so. Our dragon clan has its own heritage, and his special existence is likely to be closely related to the tree ancestor. How powerful the tree ancestor was, he eventually merged between heaven and earth. Moreover, he has the ability of my dragon family, so treat him as a member of the dragon family. Since he is not the object of our confrontation, he can be called the object of your learning. Learn more from him and maybe you will be above you in the future. There will always be him, but no one will follow him." Suanyu also smiled. "You are right. Frankly speaking, for Jean Miaolin after this time I am sincerely convinced. He is my savior." Ancestral Court, Parliament Hill. A solemn atmosphere lingered in the entire parliament, especially on the Tianyu Empire side. The atmosphere was even more gloomy, as if water was about to drip. Another emperor fell. When the blood and rain drifted in the sky, even the emperors in the ancestral court were stunned. Their first thought was, how is that possible? Why did the emperor suddenly fall again? The second reaction was, who fell? At this time the matter has been clarified. The Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor has fallen. That is the Dark Demon Great Demon King, the patriarch of the Dark Dragon clan, the city lord of the Black Dragon City, and the only emperor of the Dragon clan. It has fallen. The Heavenly Fox Demon King sat on the main seat with a gloomy face, with the other kings of the Monster Clan and the Spirit Monster Clan on either side. Relatively speaking, the spirits and monsters are more shocked, but the emperors of the monsters are more sad. What's going on? Tianyang Tianjing Emperor asked in a deep voice. The Undead Demon Emperor opposite him lowered his eyes and didn't mean to ask. After all, the relationship between the Dragon Clan and the Phoenix Demon Clan is more complicated. There is both cooperation and competition for the first race. The Great Demon Emperor Tianhu said solemnly, "I just received the news. The Great Demon Emperor of the Dark Demon fell in the Crystal City. Not long ago, the City Lord of the Crystal City, the Quasi-Emperor Suanyu, encountered an accident on his way back to the Crystal City, while protecting the elders of the Blue Gold Tree Clan. Intercepted. Except for Suanyu, all the other companions were killed, and there were no bones of the elders of the Blue Gold Tree Clan and the accompanying people. We are investigating this matter thoroughly. According to the Dragon Clan, today the Dark Demon King went to Crystal City in the name of visiting the injured Suanyu, and wanted to take the opportunity to make all the Dragon Clan surrender to him, but the Dragon Clan resisted. Suanyu Jean Miaolin, the patriarch of the Blue Gold Tree Clan, had already healed his injuries and appeared in time. He invited Jean Miaolin and young Master Mei to join forces with the three Quasi-Emperors, and with the help of Crystal City's boost, he killed the Dark Demon. The Emperor. The Dragon family has cleared the door. First, asked the Ancestral Court. Suanyu is the new generation of Dragon Clan Dragon Master, and at the same time integrate the Dark Dragon City. After listening to this remark, the emperors present couldn't help but have different expressions on their faces. The Mammoth Demon Emperor couldn't help frowning and said, "Why is there Jean Miaolin? The last time the King Kong Jingjing fell was related to him. This time he is still there." Tianyang Tianjing glanced at him and said indifferently, "The Blue Gold Tree Clan has died of a great Demon King level elder. Why can't he come forward? The matter is very clear. The vested interest who attacks Suanyu is undoubtedly the Dark Demon. Huang. It's just that he didn't expect Jean Miaolin to heal Suanyu's injury. The main city of Crystal City is extremely powerful, and under Suanyu's control he couldn't please him. Plus Jean Miaolin and young Master Mei. It's normal that they can't fight." The eyes of the big demon emperors looking at the Tianyang Tianjing Emperor became a little gloomy. The meaning of the Tianyang Tianjing Emperor's words has been made clear, and he deserves it. There is no doubt that the death of the Dark Demon King is not a bad thing for the Richen Empire. After the death of a Dark Demon King, the strength of the two emperors has undergone a subtle change again. The Sun Empire has begun to gain some upper hand. This balances the situation where there is only one Jean Miaolin in the Quasi-Emperor Spirit Clan, but there are two monster clans die in this regard. Tianyang Tianjing Emperor is obviously a little gloating. Report Jean Miaolin Zhuanhuang asks you to meet your majesty. At this moment, the voice of the ancestral court's personal guards came. Chapter 11:19. Come to report. Jean Miaolin is here? This really means that he will be there. The Heavenly Fox Demon Emperor said solemnly, please allow the Emperor to come to discuss matters. Soon Tang San was brought into the ancestral court's discussion hall. The eyes of the emperors immediately focused on him. Tang San's expression was still calm, but his expression looked a little dignified. The Heavenly Fox Demon Emperor stared at him intently. Tang San approached and bowed slightly to all the emperors. Jean Miaolin has seen your majesty. The Tianhu Demon Emperor narrowed his eyes and said solemnly, Patriarch Jean, you came just in time, we need an explanation. Tang San sighed softly and said, I'm here to explain to all your majesty. This time I also didn't expect it. It happened suddenly and the situation is special. Since I left the ancestral court, I have returned to the clan. I was in retreat in order to digest the gains from the Battle of Emperor Zhan. Not long ago, just after I finished retreat, I was shocked to hear the bad news that the third elder of my clan was attacked on the way to Crystal City with the patriarch Suan Yu of the Guangming Dragon clan, and the accompanying clan members also fell. All of them fell. As for the Dragon clan, except for patriarch Suan Yu who was seriously injured, all the other entourages were killed by the gangsters. In shock, I went to the Dragon clan to inquire about the situation. When I arrived at the Dragon clan, Patriarch Suan Yu was seriously injured and on the verge of death. His injuries were very special. I tried my best to nourish his body with life energy, and then pulled him back from the line of death and was spared. When asked about what happened at that time, although Patriarch Su could not clearly know who the gangster was, he had already made some guesses. After all, someone who could attack him and come up with so many disposable artifacts must have a very rich background. In addition, he has vested interests. The identity of the culprit was guessed, and the identity of the gangster was ready to be revealed. At this time, the Dark Demon King suddenly came to ask the dragons of the Crystal City to surrender, and took out the beads of bad luck, covering the Crystal City with bad luck. The Patriarch Su concluded that the gangster was him. For self-protection and revenge for the clansmen, we fought with the Dark Demon King. Eventually, the Dark Demon King fell. This is the general process of the whole thing. The death of an emperor was easy to say in Tang San's mouth, and all the emperors who listened to it felt it was a matter of course. However, if you think about it carefully, it is still incredible that is an emperor. The Great Demon Emperor Tianhu frowned and said, Can you explain the process in more detail? Didn't the Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor escape when he was defeated? Tang San said, Yes, he didn't choose to escape. Facing the emperor, we had to go all out, with the Patriarch Suan Yu as the main force and me as the support. At the last moment, the City Lord Mei took action, cooperated with the Patriarch Su, and killed on Yu, Demon King. This was originally an internal matter of the Dragon Clan, and we should not be involved. One was just in time for the meeting, and the other was also because of the death of the third elder of our clan, so we had to cooperate with Clan Chief Su to take action. Failed to deliver it in time. It is indeed my fault that the ancestral court handles it, and I ask you to punish me. The Heavenly Fox Demon Emperor was silent for a while. To punish? How is this punishable? The emperor has been killed. Moreover, Tang San was right about one thing. This was the Dragon Clan's own business, and it was a dispute within the Dragon Clan. Even the ancestral court will not interfere in the internal affairs of a race. Tianyang Tianjing said solemnly, Dark demons really have a way to kill this time, let alone the conflicts within their Dragon Clan. They even attacked and killed the elders of the Blue Gold Tree Clan, when the Blue Gold Tree Clan had just declared their neutrality. Come on, it's too late for our clan to protect the Blue Gold Tree Clan, and he actually did such an evil deed. The matter is already clear, and Patriarch Jean counterattacked for self-defense. Everyone is saddened by the death of the Dark Demon, but since it has already happened now, it is caused by the internal contradictions of the Dragon Clan. I think it is time to discuss the issue of how to deal with the Black Dragon City. The Dark Demon has fallen, the Dragon Clan has no emperor, and the Crystal City is temporarily preserved because of Suan Yu. But in the absence of an emperor, the dragon clan there should never be another main city. As soon as these words came out, the emperors of the Tianyu Empire all had strange expressions on their faces. There is no doubt that this is the idea of Tianyang Tianjing Emperor. The Tianyu Empire has one more main city than the Sun Empire. Originally, it was understandable. After all, there were more emperors in the Tianyu Empire. But with the fall of the Dark Demon King, the situation changed. Well, it is not appropriate to occupy another main city. It just so happens that Jingfeng has never had its own main city. I think it is better to let Jingfeng take over the Black Dragon City. The dragons of the Black Dragon City can go to the Crystal City. Crystal City is enough. Great. There should be no problem in accommodating the Dragon Clan of Black Dragon City, the great undead demon emperor said. The Dark Demon King has already died, and he died because of the internal contradictions of the Dragon Clan. For this matter, the Ancestral Court has no way to hold anyone responsible, not to mention that the Dark Demon King is still at fault. So now is it's time for profit. In any case, the Tianyu Empire cannot let the Richen Empire interfere in its main city, especially when there is one less emperor and the overall strength is weakened even more so. The big demon emperors of the Tianyu Empire are even rejoicing. Fortunately, there were 2 quasi-emperors from the demon clan in the previous battle of the emperor, otherwise, the trouble this time would be even greater. Tang San had already quietly retreated to the side, quietly listening to the collision between the emperors. As if this matter had nothing to do with him. Things were just as he expected. The Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor was not very popular. His report just now basically pushed the matter to the Dragon Clan's infighting. As for his own shot, he just took it away. It didn't even explain why Mei Gongzi came to Crystal City. Next is the collision between the monsters and the kings of the spirits. The ending is obvious. The Tianyu Empire cannot give up a main city like Black Dragon City anyway. In the case that Suan Yu did not come to participate in the discussion, the final conclusion came out soon. The Tianyu Empire gave up some interests and handed over 2 special business routes to the Richen Empire to operate. The Black Dragon City finally fell into the hands of the Jingfeng Demon Emperor, who had never had a main city. The Jingfeng Demon Emperor Lin Shima was naturally overjoyed. Who doesn't want to have a main city of their own? A main city means not only wealth, but also resources. For the development of the Jingfeng lineage, whether there is a main city is very important. Otherwise, he would not have competed for Carry City. This time it was unintentional, and the sudden fall of the Dark Demon King actually brought him a chance. With the full support of the great undead demon emperor, Black Dragon City is about to change its name. This made Lin Shima look at his future son-in-law in a good mood. It was like a big gift from his daughter and son-in-law. It could even be said that it was Tang San's dowry. Although the great white tiger demon emperor was very unhappy with him, at this critical moment, he chose to support Lin Shima in the face of his granddaughter. Although the undead demon emperor is not the first emperor of the demon clan on the surface, his opinion is very important. After all, he is the only existence in the monster clan that can compete with the Tianyang Tianjinjuang. As for the dragon clan's opinion, it doesn't matter. Everyone knows that in the absence of an emperor, the Dragon Clan cannot keep the 2 main cities. Moreover, after all, an emperor died this time. The Ancestral Court did not blame Crystal City. It was already open to the public. Therefore, no emperor asked for the opinion of Crystal City. The Dragon Clan has always been the strongest clan in the Fairy Continent. When they can suppress it, the other emperors have a tacit understanding. Of course, Suan Yu is not stupid. After Tang San left, he immediately went to Black Dragon City. In addition to receiving all the dragons from Black Dragon City, he also transferred all the savings of the Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor to Crystal City, as much as possible to preserve some of the benefits. With Crystal City, the continent's largest city, as the foundation, the Dragon Clan's strength did not suffer much. As long as Suan Yu can become emperor as soon as possible in the future, the Dragon Clan will still be a strong clan. Chapter 11:20. You are too troublesome. For this, Tang San, who was stirring the situation, was just listening on the sidelines, as if the whole thing had nothing to do with him at all. The conclusion is set. The next step is the matter of the Jingfeng Great Demon Emperor going to receive the Black Dragon City, which will be a very cumbersome process. Of course, Tang San didn't know about the contribution Jingfeng Great Demon Emperor had made quietly to his father-in-law. But he knew that Jean Mirolan wanted to marry his daughter. Because he has never seen Su Qin, he doesn't know the real situation of young Master Mei now. Then there was a strange scene. Tang San received voice transmissions from the three emperors successively, asking him to go to talk after the discussion was over. The first person to transmit a voice to him was naturally the Emperor Tianyang Tianjing. Then there was the Great Undead Demon Emperor. The Jingfeng Great Demon Emperor had been nervous about taking over the Black Dragon City, so the last one sent a voice transmission to him. On the contrary, the Great Demon Emperor Tianhu, who Tang San thought would ask him to go, did not invite him. He just glanced at him deeply after the meeting, but didn't say much. After thinking for a while, Tang San decided to go see Tianyang Tianjing first. Emperor Tianyang Tianjing met him directly at the residence of the ancestral court. You are too capable of causing trouble? No emperor has fallen for thousands of years. It's better for you to kill two directly. Do you know that before you came today, an emperor has already asked why every time he slaughtered the emperor? It has something to do with you, Tianyang Tianjing Huang said to Tang San in a stern tone. Tang San looked at him helplessly and said, Your Majesty, I don't want it either. It's just the right time. Besides, it was also the Dark Demon Great Demon Emperor who first took action against my people. I also had to take action, and this is a good thing for us. The fourth place in the Battle of the Emperor is ours. Tianyang Tianjing Emperor was slightly taken aback, isn't he? The fourth place in the Battle of the Emperor was Zhang Chanshou, who was his disciple. If it was the Emperor who made up for it, then it would most likely be Zhang Chanshou's turn. However, this matter was not discussed at the ancestral court meeting today. There will probably be some debate later on. But at least Zhang Chanshou occupied quite a favorable position. Not long after the war of occupying the emperor just ended, it is impossible to start another battle for the emperor's place, and there is no need for it. Even if it was another fight without young Master Mei, Tang San and Suan Yu, Zhang Chanshou had a very high probability of winning the championship. However, if the monsters lost an emperor, they would definitely not sit by and watch for another emperor from the Richen Empire. Therefore, there will definitely be some competition, but no matter what you say, it is the Richen Empire will surely prevail. Thinking of this, Tianyang Tianjing Emperor's face became slightly better. From now on, you must keep a low profile. Although for all emperors, your existence is a very meaningful thing, but if you continue to, if something like this happens, it will definitely arouse great opposition to you. Don't forget that you are still a quasi-emperor, not a real emperor. Do you understand what I mean? Understood, Your Majesty. I must keep a low profile and keep a low profile. Tang San said with a smile. He took the initiative to come to the ancestral court, just to dispel the possible opposition. If he didn't come, the problem would definitely be much bigger. If he came to report the situation at the time, it would be different, at least to show an attitude. There are still many emperors who will definitely be on his side. Even the Heavenly Fox Demon Emperor would not want to offend him. After all, it would be much easier for the Heavenly Fox clan to condense their luck with life energy. Because of this, Tianhu Sacred Mountain made up for the previous losses, making Tianhu Demon Emperor also value him very much. The stern look on Tianyang Tianjing's face disappeared, and he said earnestly, You still have to hurry up and become an emperor as soon as possible. Only by becoming a real emperor can you fully control your own destiny. The ancestral court has already begun to give you 3 prospective emperors, have prepared various resources. When are you going to come? How far do you feel from becoming emperor? Tang San said with a wry smile. I don't know either, but I think it still takes a certain amount of time to straighten out my various abilities. The power of the Great Crystal Demon Emperor I acquired during my job report has not been fully integrated, and there is still life left. I need to integrate the power of destruction and the sacred attributes. Of course, the life attributes inherited from the ancestors should be the core strength to overcome the calamity. Tianyang Tianjing said solemnly. Yes, you have to integrate these things well. When transcending the calamity, try to make everything as harmonious as possible and touch deeper rules. After that, you will be able to have enough strength. Take the time to come to the ancestral court, and then I will show you how to overcome the calamity. Thank you, Your Majesty. Tang San hurriedly bowed and saluted. I'll go to Kari City to ask for a kiss after I'm ready, and then I should come to our ancestral courtyard with City Lord Mei to retreat and practice, and prepare for the calamity. Tianyang Tianjing nodded and said, Yes, Come early. Also, young Master Mei, you want to control her, can you do it? Tang San said with a smile. You can always develop love over time. Besides, she chose me. Tianyang Tianjing said angrily. That girl is very scheming, and she seemed to be dismissive of you in the past, but when it came to the critical moment, she took the initiative and took you down directly. He's still a little worried about it now. Of course, it would be best for Zhang Chancho to follow Tang San. Tang San said, No way, she also obeys the rules. I'm helpless too. Your Majesty, do you have any other orders? Emperor Tianyang Tianjing said. Don't make trouble again, be honest. You said that your Blue Gold Tree clan has been keeping a low profile for so many years. How can the situation change as soon as it gets into your hands? Tang San smiled bitterly and said, If not, our Blue Gold Tree clan will soon be exterminated. Tianyang Tianjing was silent for a while and said, Okay. You remember to come early anyway. Tang San said, After the marriage proposal, I plan to directly bring City Lord Mei to get married in the ancestral courtyard. At that time, Your Majesty, you will be the master of marriage for me. Yeah. Emperor Tianyang Tianjing nodded. The marriage of the two quasi-emperors was also a very important matter for the ancestral court, especially now that Tang San's status was aloof, which all parties had to strive for. Getting married in the ancestral court is the best choice. Otherwise, both Keri City and Jianmu City are relatively remote. Should all the emperors leave the ancestral court and go to remote places? After saying goodbye to Tianyang Tianjing Emperor, Tang San still found the great immortal demon emperor first. Your Majesty. Tang San bowed respectfully to the great immortal demon emperor. Well, sit down. Compared with the anger of Tianyang Tianjing Emperor, the undead demon emperor was much calmer, and even had a smile on his face. Can you tell me how the dark demon great demon emperor died? The immortal great demon emperor looked at Tang San with deep eyes, and said lightly, although he didn't use any ability, at this moment, Tang San clearly felt a sense of oppression appearing in his consciousness. Tang San hesitated for a moment, then said, Your Majesty, I have already reported the specific situation to all of you at the meeting just now. That was the situation at the time. The great immortal demon emperor waved his hand. Don't play tricks in front of me, it doesn't make any sense. Although the great dark demon emperor is not very powerful, he is afraid of death by nature, and he is most likely to seek good luck and avoid evil. As an emperor, he couldn't even escape. I'm curious, how on earth did he die? Tang San felt the growing sense of oppression brought by the great immortal demon emperor, and said helplessly, The situation at that time may have been rather special. The great dark demon emperor released the power of doom in the Doom Pearl. When bad luck comes, it will affect the luck of the entire Crystal City. At that time, I fought against it with divine attributes, and Suan Yu mobilized the power of the Crystal City to attack him. He should have been backlashed by a certain amount of bad luck, so that his body stagnated for a short time. I controlled him together with Suan Yu, and Suan Yu took the opportunity to inflict heavy damage on him. City Lord Mei took the opportunity to take a shot and kill him with one sword.